The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The nightmare never freaking ends. Never.
It's the Jake Asman Show.
Same old Jets, baby. Oh, yeah. What a performance by the New York Jets quarterback, Zach Wilson, today. Bravo. Spectacular job. Where are you at, Wilson Truthers? I can't wait for it's all Nathaniel Hackett's fault, just like it was all Mike LaFleur's fault. It's all Salah's fault. It's everyone's fault, but the fact that the quarterback stinks. Stinks. Like, it feels silly to even pile on Zach Wilson at this point, because what is there to say? He's terrible. He's terrible. The Jets lose today 15-10. They lost because of Zach Wilson. That's it. I don't want to hear other excuses. The defense allowed 13 total points. Did they have a terrible coverage breakdown in the first half that led to Pharaoh Brown scoring a touchdown? Yes, that happens. They allowed 13 total points. They got off the field on third down more times than not. They gave this offense every opportunity. How about Zach Wilson with the game on the line, checking it down to a tight end? What are we doing? I mean, you can't make it up. If I don't laugh, I'm going to cry because I cannot stomach doing this for any more games. There needs to be a quarterback signed right now, today. Joe Douglas, get off your ass and sign someone. All right, Jay Glazer reported that Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz reached out to the Jets, and they said, we're good. We have Zach Wilson. I mean, I'm going crazy. How did we watch the same shit as last year? This is the same game again. Oh, my God. I can't do this. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I can't. Look at these stats. He's terrible. He is terrible. I actually feel bad. This is on the Jets more than it is Zach. Zach is what he is. He's not good. It is organizational malpractice to put him out there for another game. I don't care what Salah says afterwards. Right after a game, he is going to say, well, Zach's our guy. And by the way, how bad is Tim Boyle if he can't get on the field today? I mean, oh, my God, this team is so stubborn. It's the same crap. They're just wasting another year. This game, look, I hate to be that guy, but I will because I don't give a crap. It's my show. If Aaron Rodgers plays quarterback today, the Jets win by 3 touchdowns. Oh, my God. By the way, offensive line truthers, the line was pretty good today. They held up. Oh, but Jake, they couldn't run the ball. Yeah, because you think Belichick respects Zach Wilson? Why do you think that is? Do they need to run the ball a little better? Sure. Does it matter when your quarterback's that inept? No. So I look forward to let's blame Hackett, let's blame this person, let's blame Dalvin Cook. It's on Zach Wilson, man. It's right in front of you. All right? I'm watching the SNY postgame show before I started. Bart Scott's like, I played with a ton of bad quarterbacks, but man, I mean, I was thinking about this with my buddy Brian Levy watching this trash. Zach Wilson's the worst quarterback that the Jets have had that's been a consistent starter in their history. Seriously. We're not putting Hackenberg in there. He never played. Petty was a backup. I mean, this is year 3 of Zach Wilson. He has not gotten better. He's gotten worse in some respects. The stats are brutal. The eye test is even worse. He stinks. He'll give you a moment or two, like the one drive where he had 7 straight completions, but he's not good. And I feel bad criticizing him. He is what he is. It's beating a dead horse. What more can we say about Zach Wilson that has not been said? What more can we say? This defense allowed 13 points. You should win. By the way, the safety Zach takes, check it down to Brees. Oh, he's right in front of you. Oh, my God. I saw it, and I can't play quarterback. Maybe I can play it better than Zach, but come on, man. Oh, my God. How are we doing this again? There should have been a quarterback signed 13 days ago. All right? You want to be mad? Don't be mad at Zach. He is what he is. He stinks. We know that. How about Joe Douglas gets off his ass and signs somebody? Because if you can't go to Tim Boyle today, Is Tim Boyle even real? Are we sure he's not an AI robot out there? I mean, come on, man. Zach should have been benched at halftime. This was the New England game last year in Foxborough all over again. Like, I don't even want to hear, well, Jake, you know, if Randall Cobb could have caught that Hail Mary, they could have won with Zach, and Zach would have been 2-1 on the year. I mean, what are we doing here, man? I understand the season effectively ended when Rodgers died on Monday night, right? I get it, right? You're not winning the Super Bowl no matter who you were bringing in at that point. But how are you throwing away a chance to still be a good team? This team could still win 9, 10, 11 games. This defense is good, man. They bounced back like we knew they would. They weren't perfect today. They got to force turnovers. But, man, it is tough when you know your offense gives you no chance. It's last year all over again. I agree. Yeah, the defense has got to force turnovers. I get it. But you know what? They only allowed 13 points. They gave the ball back to the offense twice with a chance to go down the field and win the game. And Zach takes a safety. He's checking it to the other time. He's checking it down to Tyler Conklin on 4th and 10, 8 yards away from the first down marker. You have Garrett Wilson. How is it all these other teams with shit quarterbacks can find their stud receivers and the Jets can't? Gee, maybe because Zach Wilson's not even a bad quarterback. He's not an NFL quarterback, man. Honestly, if you're ranking backups, he's probably near the bottom, if not one of the worst. You cannot tell me there is not someone they could bring in that is not a better option. I won't listen to it. I will not listen to it. I refuse to do this anymore. Refuse. I mean, if you're going to the game next Sunday night and Zach Wilson is the quarterback, you should not go. I'm not going to tell you how to fan, have a great time, tailgate, and all that. But there's nothing else we could do as fans other than voice the displeasure with this game plan of sticking with Zach Wilson. It's not working. It will not work. He is what he is. I feel bad even saying this because it's beating a dead horse. But Joe Douglas, you have to wake up. And I'm not even going to kill Saleh for his comments after the game. That's what he's supposed to say. It's on the front office to act. This football team is good. They have a good team. They're wasting it. I understand Aaron Rodgers got hurt. But it is malpractice that was 13 days ago, and there's no quarterback on this team besides Tim Boyle right now backing up Zach Wilson. I mean, what else are we really going to talk about from this game? I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of Nathaniel Hackett's the worst. Well, the same thing was said about Mike LaFleur. How is it that any time a quarterback not named Zach Wilson has come in the last couple of years, they have looked not a little better, a lot better? And I'm not even saying Mike White or Joe Flacco or whoever is good, but they have all been better than Zach Wilson. I wonder why that is. This organization is too stubborn, man. Admit it, you got it wrong with the second pick in the draft. It's okay. We're ready to move on. This team was not supposed to have him as the quarterback. We get that, Joe. But if Douglas does nothing again, then shame on him for wasting this year. Because your career record as GM and Saleh's record as head coach is only going to get worse if you stick with Zach Wilson. Because to lose to this Patriots team that is not very good again at home is a joke. And I don't want to hear about the weather. I don't want to hear about any injuries the Jets have. The Patriots are down 3 starting players in their secondary, and they could do nothing with it. They scored 10 points. Defense gives up 13, and they lose. It's a joke, man. There's no other big takeaway from this game other than you need to make a change at quarterback. And I don't want to hear, well, Jake, if they bring someone in now, it's going to take a couple games to get someone that can learn this offense. Baker Mayfield got traded or got claimed off waivers by the Rams. 2 days later, he's playing a Thursday night game. They won the game. Anyone is better than doing what they're doing right now. They are wasting Garrett Wilson, man. You look at this box score, and it is criminal that Garrett Wilson only has 48 total yards, and they didn't come till the very end, a lot of these yards. Criminal, man. Why is Randall Cobb playing? All right? Want me to be critical? No Rucker, not enough Rucker today. Still, is Miko Hartman alive? Is he actually alive? Is he still breathing? Is he still with us? I haven't seen him. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the fact this quarterback stinks. That's it. And this front office is too stubborn to do anything. They better act fast because this season's going to slip. Saleh says he's not worried about losing in the locker room. I would be. This is last year all over again if they don't act now. They scored 10 points. They scored 10 points last week. They scored only 16 in week 1. Offensively, they stink. You could blame the coordinator because that's always what we do, right? It's Hackett, it's LaFleur. The quarterback stinks. That's the problem. I don't know what other takeaway we could have from this game. There's some things I can nitpick, right? And I said it. The blown coverage by the defense on the Farrell Brown. With the Ruckert usage, the Cobb usage, no Hartman. We could get into all that. But at the end of the day, when your defense gives up only 13 points, even the worst offenses in the league could find a way to score more than that. I mean, it's depressing, man. They're throwing away another year with Zach Wilson. Why? And oh my God. And listen to this answer after the game. Hey, Zach, what went wrong?
How would you assess why things didn't really work in the passing game today, aside from that one drive where you guys went down the field?
Yeah, I don't know. It starts with me. I got to find a way to be better. We're going to go back and watch this film, and we're gonna find all those things, find out how we can improve.
I don't know. I don't know either. I mean, why do we do this, man? It's sickening. They had Aaron Rodgers for 4 plays. 4! He played 4 plays and then died. How are we doing this again? It is last year all over again. I can't. My heart will not make it. I can't do it. All right? I can't. I cannot do more games with Zach Wilson as the quarterback. How do you not try and go to Tim Boyle and see if he can spark this team today? It could not be worse. And if he somehow is worse, then how is there no one added to this football team? I genuinely feel bad for the defense. They're out there the entire game. They held New England to 13 points. I thought Quincy Williams had a really good game. I thought Mosley made plays. Adrian Amos made some plays. I thought DJ Reed was really good today. There were guys on defense that were playing their asses off, man, and you just wasted. Yes, the running game was terrible. You want to know why the running game is terrible? No one has any respect for Zach Wilson. And where's the blame the offensive line crowd? I thought the O-line gave Zach plenty of time today. He's holding on to the ball. Tony Romo, who never wants to criticize anyone in the booth, anyone is criticizing Zach Wilson, pointing out the obvious that he stinks. By the way, Quinnen played his ass off too, and thank God he's healthy. I mean, it's just, what are we doing, man? It is wasting another year for no reason. We understand this team without Aaron Rodgers was no longer a championship contender. But you could still win 10 games and go to the playoffs in an AFC that is wide open. I mean, I can't do this all year, man. Anyone they bring in is an upgrade at that position. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, at least you tried. Because doing the same thing now 3 years in with Zach Wilson and expecting a different result is asinine. It is the definition of insanity what the Jets are doing. I would take Aaron Rodgers in a goddamn wheelchair over Zach Wilson. I'm sick and tired of it. And you should be too. Stop being a Wilson truther. Open your eyes and realize no NFL team can win when they have a quarterback that bad. The Jets defense could be the 85 Bears. They would still struggle to make the playoffs with this quarterback. Seriously. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I don't think I am. I'm watching the Miami Dolphins today score 70 points. Watch all these other games. Josh Dobbs has looked respectable for the Cardinals this year. They're up right now on the Cowboys. They nearly beat the Giants last week. They were competitive week 1 against the Commanders. Josh Dobbs. Watch the other teams around the league. They all could at least move the ball on occasion. I mean, the Jets on third down, they have no chance. None. I mean, it's a joke. They're 2 of 14 on third down today. You can't win that way. You can't. And it's on the quarterback. That's his job, to move the chains. They can't. It is a joke that we're doing this again. And I refuse to. I can't. I cannot do this. I'm not watching more Zach Wilson. It's cruel. I mean, it's just, how are we doing this, man? Seriously, I would take Aaron Rodgers in a wheelchair. Oh, my God. just the delusion from the people that somehow watched this game today and blame anyone else but Zach Wilson. I don't know what to tell you. And I feel bad saying this about Zach. I don't think he's a bad kid, but he's not an NFL quarterback. And the Jets continuing to throw him out there is organizational malpractice. It has to stop. They have to get a quarterback in this week. They have to. This team is still good enough to salvage the year, even with a loss to New England, and likely one coming to the Chiefs next week. I mean, if they had Josh Dobbs, they might be they're at least 2-1 right now, man. And it's sickening because if they have Aaron Rodgers, they spanked the living you-know-what out of the Patriots today. Disgusting. That team is not good. Just a joke, man. I can't. And here's Robert Saleh's answer on why they're keeping Zach as a starter. I don't buy this for a second.
Has Zach shown you enough to keep him as the starter going
forward? He's fine. That's not a question.
At what point do you just decide maybe, you don't want to let the season get away from you? So do you continue to go, like if it continues to go in this bad direction?
We're still early in the season. We knew that even with Aaron at quarterback, we knew that there was going to be some hiccups along the way because of the new offense, new play caller, new O-line, new players all over the offense side of the ball, and now you've got this curveball that was sent to us, and so there's they're acclimating and they're going to get better, and but it's still very early in the season.
He's fine. He's fine. By the way, Salah, it's not so early in the season. You're looking at 1-3 with the Chiefs coming to your building next week. It's not so early. He could say that, and he has to say that as the head coach. But let's be real. It is snowballing. Because right now, this team has no quarterback. So how are you going to win without a quarterback? And the excuse that, we were expecting, it to be a transition because there's new players all over. You scored 10 points, man. 10. Bad NFL teams could put up 13 points on the board. Could move the ball. The rules are built for you to move the ball. If they don't do something fast, it is going to snowball. We're looking at a 5 or a 6-win season. And Douglas has to say that because Salah has to say that because ultimately it's not on him to get a new quarterback. It's on this GM. Vikings are now 0-3. I'm calling the Minnesota Vikings every day and seeing if I can get a trade. I am going to monitor closely the Rams situation. But I'm signing Carson Wentz or Matt Ryan today if they reached out. Colt McCoy could have already been here. And here's the problem. For those who want Salah gone, he's not going anywhere if Aaron Rodgers comes back. It's not happening. So whether Salah's a good coach or not, once again, I think it's tough to evaluate him when Zach Wilson's your quarterback. If they stick with Wilson for more games here, it's a joke. It's a joke, man. I mean, this season is just cruel. All the hype, all the excitement, rightfully so, because once again, I would say this roster is pretty good based on what we have seen. Just to be back with Zach Wilson at quarterback. It's a joke, man. Wasting this type of roster to justify the second overall pick, if that's Douglas's reasoning for not doing anything to this point, is a joke. We'll get to your comments. We'll get to your super chats. All calls on the Gusbuster hotline. If you're at the game today, God bless you, man. You deserve better. My brother was there. I want to give a big shout out to listener Stephen Mitchell, who hooked me up with some tickets that I sent over to my brother and his friend to go to the game. So, Jet fans, you guys were great. You were loud. It's just, once again, criminal that you had to watch Zach Wilson play quarterback for this team. All calls sponsored by Gusbuster. We'll get to it right now.
If you go to GusBuster.com, you could purchase the best umbrella in the universe. And you could use the promo code Jake, so you'll get 15% off on any of your umbrellas.
Hey, Klein, you're first up on today's postgame. Jake, what do you got?
How you doing, man? First, happy fast, everybody who's Jewish in the group. So just wanted to say that first, to be polite. I hope everyone's satisfied because everyone that said all last 2 weeks to let's support this quarterback, let's keep supporting this quarterback, he's the answer. Are you happy now?
Well, hold on.
Are you
Jake.
happy now?
Hold on a second.
Are you happy now?
Obviously not, but that's a stupid comment.
No, it's not a stupid comment. It's reality, bro. He's trash.
Right, but why wouldn't you
Everyone
support him?
us to do this over and over and over again?
We're arguing two different things here.
Really?
Yeah, really. Obviously. Okay, goodbye. What a dumb comment. He was the only option they have on the team. You're rooting for him to play poor just so you could say you're right? I don't enjoy having to say he sucks. I was rooting for him. I was hoping like hell Randall Cobb could have caught that Hail Mary. They could somehow survive and win, and we could argue for another week what they do at quarterback. No one's saying you blindly say he's good by supporting him. What the fan base was basically saying was, why not, before you start booing the guy before the game starts, maybe give him a chance. And the Jet fan did, and then you got putrid play, and I don't blame anyone who booed or anyone who's rightfully pissed off. But that's a silly comment. To any Jet fan who said support Zach. I mean, they were 1-1 going into this game today. I mean, the hope was, maybe some of the good things he did in the first 3 quarters of the Cowboys game, maybe that would show itself against New England. You never saw it. Zach Wilson's quote-unquote decent game is still not good enough. And when he's bad, he's the worst quarterback in the NFL by far. And that's what he was today. But that's a stupid comment to say, anyone who supported Zach going into this game, you happy now. What was the alternative? FM writes in, I always try to call, but Jake rejects me. Not true, FM. You're actually banned for life. And you made a fake account to come back in. So hold on. We'll send him to the Shadow Realm real quick.
Into the Shadow Realm you go.
And the Jets are kind of dysfunctional and not a perfect roster.
Joe writes in with a super chat. With Salah's comments post-game, Woody should clean house. I'm done with them all. Incompetence at the highest level. He's not cleaning house in week 3. All right, we stop at that. And I think for those who want wholesale changes, I don't think you're getting it with Aaron Rodgers coming back. But if I'm Woody Johnson, you know what I'm saying to my GM? Get a damn quarterback, bro. That's what you do if you're the owner. You step in and say enough. I'm not watching Zach Wilson for 14 more games. There's no way. Generic YouTuber says, CFL fan here. At this point, just gamble. Get Nathan Rourke. He's got Pro Bowl experience and talent. He fails in a few weeks. Trade for someone else. There's better options out there than having to take a gamble on a CFL player. Raw Power says, Namath calling out coach and GM. Zach stinks. Yeah, Namath was unhinged on Twitter today, and every tweet he had was right. He's tired of it. I can't blame him. I mean, this is trash, man. Anyone trying to defend this, you're part of the problem. It is trash. Hold this organization accountable. There needs to be a new quarterback brought in. It's a joke. Kamal says, Minnesota lost. Go give a third-rounder for Cousins. This is an absolute joke, or fire these nimwits. Absolutely ridiculous. Look, the Vikings are 0-3. I am calling, and I am going to do everything I can to try and get Kirk Cousins if possible. I don't know if they'll trade him yet. They might say, hey, the NFC's bad. We're still in the mix. They're going nowhere, though. Their schedule is brutal. This was one of their swing games. Maybe they could win. I mean, they're going to be 2-6, 1-5 by the deadline at best. But you still, if you can't get Cousins, need to add a quarterback because that guy is better than Zach Wilson. Baker Mayfield learned enough of the Rams offense in 2 days to start and win a game. Get me Carson Wentz. Get me Matt Ryan. Get me Nick Foles. Get me Colt McCoy. Someone has to be added because this is a joke. Michael says, Jake, I'm sick of this. They let Mike White go. They should have made an effort to sign him. Oy vey. Agreed. But they were so steadfast on we have to justify the number 2 pick and keep him around that they didn't even try to retain Mike White and overpay him to keep him. Which was a good move by the Dolphins to get him because they're really good. And Mike White came in today and he looked like Mike White. He can make easy throws. The ball moves with Mike White. No one's saying Mike White is great, but at least when a backup comes in, they can move the chains a couple times. Pick up a first down on third down. The Jets were 2 of 14 on third down today. How is that possible? H. Santiago, can we start a petition to Ben Zach? I'll do anything to Ben Zach. It's a joke. Rat Diddy says, Jake, this is now on Douglas. It's his roster, his own moves. Tell Salah tonight you're getting Wentz and get him ready to play ASAP. I would have a quarterback signed by the time this postgame show ends if I was running the Jets right now. It's enough. JJ up next on the Gus Buster hotline. What's up, JJ?
I'm up next. Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Oh, you know me. I'm just leaving the stadium, as you can see. Like every week, I come to this place.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. I feel bad for
I
you,
come
dude.
to this place every week, every home game to support the team. Since for 2 years now, since his rookie year, I've been telling you guys Zach sucked, right? But it's not on Zach because we know he sucks. The coaching staff watches this guy play every week, and they still roll him out in front of us as if we're supposed to expect something better. We have to start calling out the coaching staff, and we have to start calling out the GM. They know he sucks, but they still give us this bullshit every week. And then you guys in the chat are like, oh yeah, but we drafted Garrett Wilson, we drafted Sauce Gardner. What the fuck does that matter if we're gonna go 1-8 for the first 9 games again? What does it matter having them on the roster? I don't understand. When are we going to wake up as fans and say, hey, this regime ain't it? I'm sorry. I know you guys like Joe Douglas. He's a cool, fun guy, blah, blah, blah. You like Robert Saleh. He's motivational. You know, he has the good speeches, bald head. He looks good. But he ain't it. He ain't it. And until we realize that he ain't it, we're just not going to win any games. And I'm not mad because I knew this was going to happen. So we got to wake up as a fan base and realize the coaching staff we have in place and the GM that we have in place ain't it. They ain't it. I'm sorry, they ain't it.
Look, it's tough to argue with you right now when you see this team sticking with Zach Wilson. Doesn't make any sense. I actually feel bad for Saleh because he has to say what he's saying. Because he knows how shot Zach Wilson's confidence would be the second he says, yeah, we're going to give Tim Boyle some reps with the ones this week in practice. Zach's play today was unacceptable. I mean, that's how fickle it is with Zach. Mac Jones got benched in a Monday night game last year. They went back to him the next week. Now he's starting for the Pats. You could bench a quarterback and go back to him. They should have went to Tim Boyle today at halftime, and maybe you go back to Zach next week if Boyle craps himself or he's bad. All right, maybe you do that. But at least this could have given the team a spark today. You want to criticize Saleh? I'd criticize him for that because I was screaming for Boyle at halftime today. And I don't think Tim Boyle's any good. I want to be on the record. I don't think he's the answer. But you owe it to the rest of the team to try and do something. This was a joke. I mean, it's criminal, man. And the play calling's not great either. I acknowledge that. But you know what? It's hard to call plays when you have no faith in your quarterback because your quarterback gives you nothing. Your quarterback is gun-shy to throw. There were guys open. They showed it on the broadcast. Were there some plays where maybe no one was open? Okay. Well, you know what? That's where a good NFL quarterback could fit a ball through a tight window and make a play. Or Zach could step up and run instead of going down. There was one play he just took a sack. No one touched him. This was not about the O-line today. I thought the tackles held up. I thought the interior was good enough. Yeah, they couldn't run block. But you know what? It's hard to run block when you know the quarterback has no chance of beating you. And they put 8 or 9 guys in the box, and Zach couldn't beat him. The only time he could beat him was the one drive where he was 7 of 7, and then it was short-lived. They have another opportunity. He takes a safety when Breece Hall is wide open in front of him to check it down to at least avoid that. Brutal. Or how about the decision-making on 4th and 10? You're checking it down with the game on the line to your tight end, 8 yards short of the sticks. Are you kidding me? It's disgusting, man. This was such a piss-poor effort by the quarterback, and just doing nothing's a joke. Jonathan says, we sign a quarterback or we riot. I've already started rioting, man. I can't do this again. Kevin says, it's on Douglas. His stubborn belief Wilson can be good. Agreed. This is on Joe Douglas. Raymond says, I don't want to hear about the offensive line. I thought they gave him plenty of time to throw. He just didn't know how to reroute wide receivers and change plays. He's just not good, Raymond. That's what it comes down to, man. I agree with you. This was not about the offensive line today. It wasn't. Zach Wilson had time, man. He did. He had time to make plays. He got sacked 3 times. I'd say at least 2 of them were on him holding onto the ball. Eduardo says, as a Jets fan, I'm calling for Zach's head. As a Mormon, I'm calling for Zach's excommunication. I mean, he was just terrible today, man. It's just brutal. I don't wish him ill will, though. I don't think he's a bad human. He's just not good. And honestly, it feels stupid for me to even talk about him not being good. It's beating a dead horse. All right, this is on this front office waking up and doing something. Joe Douglas, Rex Hogan, do something. This season is still salvageable. This defense is good. Don't waste it. Your schedule is soft after the bye. Bring someone in, and if you can even get the 2 and 4 at the bye, you're not actually cooked with the way the AFC is seemingly shaping up right now. As I'm watching Josh Dobbs lead the Cardinals 15-3 against the Cowboys right now. Oh, my God. Johnny Boy says, worse, this is such a good game for Zach, 0 turnovers. I mean, that's the thing, right? His last 2 games against the Pats, he hasn't turned the ball over. Gee whiz. Depressed Jets fan Johnny up next on the hotline. What's up, Johnny?
Jake.
Johnny?
Yeah, you can hear me?
We hear you.
Jake, you can hear me? Oh, man. Yeah, man.
Johnny, I sorry, man. The connection's not good with people from the phone. Ken from San Diego, what do you got for us, Ken?
How's it going? Nice speaking to you again. You know, the crazy thing about it is we'll all be back here next week watching.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to miss a snap the rest of the season, but it's like it's torture doing this every week. It's
absolutely. You know, I'm a corporate guy. I've worked as an executive in a corporation, and you know, at the end of the day, this is really about a corporation. Joe Douglas basically drafted a guy, and we refused to move on from him. And there's nothing really Saleh can do about it because Joe's calling the shots. And the guy's not ready to play quarterback. I mean, that's clear. There are a couple of things. I know we always get crazy. This was a horrible game. Zach is not a professional quarterback, at least not at this point. But our offensive line is bottom 7 in Pro Football Focus. It's not, Jake, it's not a tremendous offensive line.
Was it bad today, though? I mean,
the safety that you're talking about, there's 2 minutes left in the game. It's 3rd and 15. The underneath throw, I get it, but we're going to have to kick from our 10-yard line anyway. So, I mean, he was trying to make a play. The guy's not good, but I'm just saying we got to have a team that is coached like Rex Ryan used to coach.
Kenny, he can't take a safety there though. You're down at that point. You make it where instead of needing a field goal, where you have an excellent kicker who in the rain, shout out to Greg the Leg, hit a 52-yarder. You're now making it where you need a touchdown for an offense that has produced only now 2 total touchdowns in 3 games.
Yeah, but we'd be punting from our own 10. The safety, we got a 70-yard punt. I'm not going to argue. Zach's not great, but this team is it's not just Zach. You know, Rex Ryan used to take a quarterback who could. And Mark Sanchez and say, we're going to give you 5 throws and that's it. And then we're going to run the ball. And, you know, right now we always get out coached. And so Zach, horrible, but we got out coached. And the other thing that you're 100% right on, I'm not saying that we could have gotten a QB right away who could have stepped in and learned the offense in 1 week, but we have wasted 3 weeks now. We have nobody, I mean, who we could put in there now. So it's the same mantra over and over. Well, Zach gives us the best chance. Well, maybe if we did get even Colt McCoy 3-4 weeks ago, we'd have a chance. I don't know if we have a chance against the Chiefs anyway, but we'd have a chance in game 5, 6, 7, 8. This is a corporate problem. And you're right. With Aaron Rodgers coming back, there's no chance of changing any of it because he is a Douglas. I mean, this is really corporate politics right now. He is a Douglas.
Ken, thank you for the call. They lost because of Zach Wilson. There are other issues, sure, but this is not on the offensive line today. It feels silly to even blame them when Zach Wilson had time and he couldn't do anything with it. It's silly. And the safety can't happen. That's not Zach trying to make a play. That's dumbassery. You lose possession there. All right? It's a field goal game. You cannot take a safety there. Not when Breece Hall is wide open for your check down. That was a terrible decision by the quarterback. Awful. That can't happen. He's in his 3rd year. I don't want to hear he's trying to make a play. He should know better. I can't listen to the excuses, man. I can't do it, man. They lost because the quarterback stinks. That's why they lost today. The defense allowed 13 points. They got off the field on 3rd down more times than not. There were a couple breakdowns, but it happens. They're on the field the entire game. The Jets always lose the time of possession. Always. Gonzo says, I'm signing Wentz. Yeah, I would too. He cannot be worse than Zach Wilson. There's no chance. R. Bibb says they tried to sign Henny and ripping off the practice squad, guys that won't intimidate or push Zach. I agree. They're so worried about this guy's confidence. That's why Saleh has to be so defensive after the game, being like, he gives us the best chance to win, and we got to play better around him. He's afraid to say Zach needs to play better. It's unacceptable. He will lose him. He's not an NFL quarterback. If that breaks him, he's not the guy. A1 says Zach needs like 5 seconds to make a pass, and we're too predictable on offense. I agree with the predictability part because teams know Zach stinks. What a joke to lose to this Pats team. They're not good. I hope the Cowboys smash them next week if they can figure out how to beat the crummy Cardinals right now. Oh, my God. Sears says, Salah's a TED Talk guy, doesn't have the balls to make adjustments or hurt players' feelings. I survived Adam Gase for this. Sears, I would love to see what this team would look like with a competent quarterback, man. I'm not even saying Aaron Rodgers. They win today with that. Just, like, I could be mad and blame other things. They allowed 13 points and lost, man. It's so hard to win when you have no quarterback, man. Bill Belichick has missed the playoffs 8 of his 10 years without Brady. Like, I just feel like we're back to last year again. What is there really to say? Carpetbagger, Minnesota lost. Cousins on the market soon. I'd call every day, even if you can't get him. Raymond says, why is Randall Cobb in on that Hail Mary? I have no idea. It'd be nice if Jason Brownlee and his athleticism and big playability could be active today, huh? Be nice if Mecole Hardman existed. But let's be real. Even if they made some of those changes, would it have made a difference today? It's like Josina Anderson trying to be like, oh, man, Oregon wouldn't have won if Travis Hunter was healthy yesterday for Colorado. Like, it wouldn't have made a difference. Paige says you were delusional last week about this team. How? By pointing out the fact I thought the defense would bounce back, that they would have a chance to win today despite how bad it looked? I guess I was delusional thinking Zach Wilson wouldn't be this inept. I thought he would be okay and the running game would be good enough for them to win. But I was wrong. So if that makes me delusional, then so be it. I'll gladly take your $2. That's a candy bar right there. Could use one after this shit I watched. Jeez. Dallas says, just did Jets Media Day with Richie. This game was bad. Zach was missing wide open receivers. I don't know what to say anymore. Salah needs to put the hammer down and stop being Mr. Nice Guy. They got to make a change at quarterback. I mean, that's it. That's all there needs to say. Salah can say whatever he wants immediately after the game, that Zach gives him the best chance and he's not going to bury him. I think when he watches the tape and sees guys open and Zach being gun-shy or the protection being there and Zach being afraid to throw, I think there's a change this week. I do. Or they sign a quarterback and Zach's on notice versus the Chiefs with the intention being like, it's going to be tough to beat them anyway, so we'll get a guy ready to beat the crummy Broncos in 2 weeks because that's the game we're going to need if we're going to have a season. Because let's be real. The Jets are not beating the Chiefs. They're going to be 1-3. They're going to need to find a way to beat the Philadelphia Eagles or the Chiefs to get the 3-3 now, and the Broncos. That's not happening. They're looking at 2-4 at best at the bye. Realistically. Could things happen? Sure. But they got to get a quarterback ready for the Broncos game. Someone needs to be signed tonight. Louis said, I was at this game and still am. Crowd was awful. I don't know. Sounded loud at certain spots, man. There were back-to-back false starts for the Patriots at one point in this game. Crowd had a lot to do with that. Tough to be loud when you're sitting in a monsoon and the quarterback is Zach Wilson. Brutal. Joe the Jet up next on our show. Joe, what do you got for us?
Hey, Jake. Miserable game. I'd rather have Joe Namath at 70 years old play quarterback for me right now than Zach Wilson, to be perfectly honest. I mean, pay attention to what Garrett Wilson was doing and what Michael Carter was doing on the sideline. They were like arguing with each other and everything like that. Robert Saleh is losing this team by starting Zach Wilson more and more.
I agree.
If that happens again and again, let me tell you something. This team's going to start to unravel, and guess what? This team will be in complete chaos by the end of this year if they keep starting Zach Wilson. I hope they sign a quarterback. I hope they get Carson Wentz off the street, or they get some random guy named Aaron Aronson or something like that, or Jim Johnson at quarterback. Is anything better than this quarterback? Anything better?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I do think you do risk losing the locker room with another game like this. It's human nature. How could it not? These guys realize how good the team is around them, and here's Zach Wilson. They tried to rally around him and hope that, hey, maybe he's gotten better. Rodgers has helped him. He's the same guy, man. David says New York media is toxic. They expect draft picks to be instantly developed. He's in his third year, you bumbling idiot. On his second offensive coaching staff with weapons galore. Bum.
Into the shadow realm you go.
They haven't won anything in 100 years. Salah's defense, the 2 years that he's been here with the Jets, they haven't done anything. The Jets have spent all summer telling us how great they're going to be. The Jets are going to make me hate them.
It's literally like doing last year all over again. I mean, it's the same crap. It really is. It's disgusting. Raphael says, how about Mike White hitting Robbie Anderson for 6 today? Could have had Rodgers and Mikey Blanco as our 1 and 2. I agree. I mean, I don't know what else I could say. I did not want Zach as the backup. I said it all offseason. And when the Wilson truthers were trying to tell me that he somehow fixed because he looked okay, I guess, in some preseason games, I never bought it. I'm the one telling you I thought it was ridiculous how they tried to make that throw to Malik Taylor in the Hall of Fame game like it was Eli to Manningham in Super Bowl 45. What are we doing here? RJ says, how would a Kirk trade look as far as compensation? Maybe a third-round pick that could be a 2. It's not going to be a first for a 35-year-old on an expiring contract. Is Minnesota willing to pull the plug, though? I mean, they're 0-3. Probably not, but look at their schedule coming up. They could be 1-5, 2-6 at the deadline, and that's when I think you could do something. But you call the Vikings, sure. But guess what? If they say no, that's not an excuse to not sign Carson Wentz or Matt Ryan. Someone, man. Knobcraft, shoot me up full of... I'm not going to read that. Brutal. John says, when do we start to worry about Saleh and JD's job? I mean, how bad does this get, John? They could win one game the rest of the year? I don't think they're going. I don't think either one of them is going anywhere. I think Aaron Rodgers going down 4 snaps in. They're going to get a mulligan. It's going to be a make or break year. But if I'm Woody Johnson, I'm calling Joe Douglas out saying, get a quarterback in here. I'm not losing another. The building's going to be half full if you keep trotting Zach Wilson out there. Hennick says, people saying Hackett's a bad OC, but Wilson can't seed wide open players, so what's Hackett supposed to do? They said LaFleur was a bad OC. Everyone's a bad OC, and then the quarterback that's not Zach always seemingly looks better in the offense. Flacco, White, Strevler made more plays in a game last year than Wilson against Jacksonville. This was the Jacksonville performance all over again for Zach. This was the second New England game. Sure, he had that one good drive. That's not enough, man. Joe Pro, you're up next on the hotline. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Jake? I don't know what to say, man. You know, I can't do last year all over again, but it's the same thing. The same thing. Anybody is better than Zach. And I really feel like if you want to save the season, you got to get Zach Wilson out of there. You got to get it. Anybody's in. Go get Ken O'Brien. Go get Browning Nagel. Get some damn body. Somebody. I'll take anybody right now. I just can't do another year of Zach Wilson because Zach Wilson will ruin the season. You're not going to only lose the locker room. You're going to start losing fans.
Yeah.
Fans don't want to see this. Aaron Rodgers was putting asses in seats. And for snaps in, we got.
Joe, we're losing you with your connection. I agree with you. Aaron Rodgers was putting asses in seats. He put my ass in a seat last 2 games. I thought I paid good money to see the Jets in Dallas last week, thinking I was going to watch Aaron Rodgers. I flew into New York to watch Aaron Rodgers play quarterback on Monday night against the Bills, and I got 4 plays of it. We were robbed, all of us as Jet fans, man. It is cruel to be here having to argue with idiots that somehow Zach is not the biggest problem for this team. He is. It's enough, man. Seriously, I would take Aaron Rodgers in a wheelchair over Zach Wilson. I can't do it, man. Bang Mateo says, Arthur Smith has his team prepared. You can't deny that. Yeah, Arthur Smith, man. The great Arthur Smith, Bang Mateo. Enjoy the realm. What are we doing here, Arthur Smith?
Into the shadow realm you go.
It doesn't happen often where an NFL team or organization gets embarrassed. The Jets did that this year.
I think he needs to keep my coach's names out of his mouth.
The Falcons were so prepared today in their 20-6 loss to the Lions. Please. The Jets lost today because of one player on the field. That's it. They gave up 13 points. Enough. Can't blame the O-line. Oh, but Jake, they didn't run the ball. Why would you expect the Jets to be able to run the ball with Zach Wilson as their quarterback against Belichick? He's going to take that away. You're going to need a quarterback to hit guys who are open. Zach couldn't do it. There were plays to be made, man. There were. He didn't make them. I can't wait. And honestly, it's going to be painful, but it needs to be exposed, and we'll show it on the show. The amount of guys that are running free, and he's gun shy. Or he's not taking off using his legs. I mean, Tim Boyle should have played the second half, man. Ray Adams says, at what point does Salah get honest about ZW? Garrett's begging for the ball. I think they add a quarterback this week. I think Salah is saying what he's saying after the game because he has to. By the way, did I not call it with the Dwayne Brown bullshit from this past week? I mean, I wasn't surprised at all if you watched the show that Mekhi Becton was the left tackle and AVT was the right tackle. Salah says what he needs to say because that's his job as the coach. What he now needs to do behind closed doors is bang on Joe Douglas's door and say, we're getting a quarterback in the building this week. It's enough. That's what he needs to do. MetaMag, WTF, Jake. WTF was that? No words, man. Felix, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate everyone for the super chats. I know we're all pissed off and angry, but you guys are the best. 1,100 of you watching live right now. Just want to say I truly appreciate this fan base, and it sucks we're going through this again, but we're all in this together. We need action ASAP. GM and staff need to get their head out of their ass and realize they failed on the second pick in the draft and moved like San Francisco did. He isn't an NFL QB, not even a good backup. That's actually a great point, Felix. The Niners, who traded 3 ones to get Trey Lance and have an offensive genius, were willing to admit we fucked up. I mean, what more do you need to say? They were willing to admit that they got it wrong with Trey Lance. And here we are being force-fed Zach Wilson for a third season in a row. I got it the first 2. I understood. I even understood keeping Zach on the team this year if he was the number 3 quarterback, and it was a true redshirt reset year. He should have sat all year with a competent backup behind him. And this is not a second guess. He sits all year as the third quarterback. A backup's brought in. He could be the number 2 quarterback to Aaron Rodgers next year in 2024. A full year of sitting and learning for Zach Wilson. Instead, he's the only lineup defense right now. A joke. NYJ Matty, Garrett Wilson's pocket presence is horrible. And I think you got the wrong guy. I think you mean Zach Wilson. The sack for safety was proof. Yes. I would take Garrett Wilson at quarterback right now. Run the Wildcat, man. Put Cobb in. I'm not doing this next week. They're not beating the Chiefs with Zach Wilson. It's impossible. They have no chance to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs if Zach's playing quarterback next week. None. Omari says, seeing Zach not angry and smiling on the bench is what pisses me off more. No determination in his eyes. We are already losing our team. Players are angry on the bench. Our O-line played well. Zach is trash. Yeah, he stinks. This was not about the O-line today. It's good to see the comments are not reflecting the O-line blame because I couldn't handle that. They have their best 5 guys out there right now. They got to block better, I guess, for the running game, but it's tough, man. There's no holes. There were a couple plays I thought Dalvin Cook maybe could make a guy miss in a couple of receptions he had. But, man, it's just like everything's got to be so perfect for this team to put any points on the board. It's brutal. Ryan, you're up next on the hotline. We'll keep rolling with the calls. We'll try and get to as many as we can. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, I got a few points to make real quick. So, number one, it's a little bit off topic. It was really sweet with, what happened in Denver, especially with Sean Payton with his bullshit at the beginning of the year. And now all of a sudden he's 0-3 and got blown out 70-20.
It's funny because that's what I thought the Jets and Aaron Rodgers were capable of doing in a couple of weeks from now. And obviously, the Jets will be lucky if Zach Wilson's playing to score 6 points in that game. Please.
I mean, that's one sweet thing. Number two, I wanted to know your opinion on if you think that if we cannot get Cousins, if you think the Jets have a shot at maybe going after Tyrod Taylor. That's number two. And then
I don't think the Giants will trade him. They need a good backup for Daniel Jones. He's been hurt a lot in his career.
All right. Well, number three, Zach Wilson is so horrible. You could put him on the AFC Pro Bowl team against the worst college team, and they'd lose because of him. I mean, it is inept. He's got the yips. He's dropping back 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, they've and I'm not giving this team another fucking cent, not another dime until he's gone. Like, he needs to be handed walking papers today. I don't care who you sign at this point, but he needs to be gone. And that's all I wanted to say, bud.
Yeah, I can't. I don't blame you, man. I'm going to tell any fan not to spend money right now. I mean, we were robbed of Aaron Rodgers, but that's not an excuse for the Jets to do nothing at the most important position in sports. I agree. I mean, it's tough to imagine wanting to go to another game right now to watch this crap on offense. I don't blame anyone, man. We were hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray. Whatever else Stephen A. said after the Knicks took Porzingis that night. Like, we got 4 snaps of Aaron Rodgers, then his Achilles snap, man. Like, that, like, it's cruel, man. As painful as it is to, like, do this postgame show and, like, watch these losses, like, they win today by 3 scores if Rodgers is the quarterback. It's not even close. This New England team is not good. They're not. They scored 13 points. They got gifted a safety because Zach was blind on the play and couldn't check it down to Breece Hall in front of him. I mean, they're going nowhere, man. Nowhere. They're going to miss the playoffs again. And the Jets can't even beat them. It's cruel. Aaron says, please, JD, do what we have to do, get a quarterback. I mean, I've only been saying this for 13 days and counting. Metropolitan says, everyone said Zach wasn't expecting to play with Rodgers. I think the coaches thought they didn't have to coach. No plan past Rodgers. Maybe he's just not good. Is that a possibility? That he's just not good? It's always the coach's fault, and it's never the same thing was said about Mike LaFleur last year. And then Mike White comes in, and the offense looks capable before he fractured his ribs. Joe Flacco, as bad as he was better than Zach Wilson last year. Has Zach Wilson ever had a stat line like what Joe Flacco had against the Browns in Week 2 a year ago? The answer is no. Like, yeah, I'm not in love with what I've seen from Hackett. I'm not. But I don't, like, Nathaniel Hackett had a top 10 offense and Blake Bortles was his quarterback. Blake Bortles is Tom Brady compared to Zach Wilson. That's how bad he's been. And look, I'm not even killing Zach for last week. I thought Zach was this was my fear. It came to life today. I said it 2 weeks ago. I was more worried about this game for Zach than I was the Cowboys game. Because for 3 quarters, I'm not saying Zach was good, but he wasn't horrendous. He wasn't this. Like, there's levels to Zach Wilson's badness. Like, his quote-unquote okay game is the Dallas game where, not much, makes a handful of plays. And then the fourth quarter of the game was out of reach. He threw 3 terrible interceptions. And then there's when he's off, which he always is against the Patriots, there's games like today. And you want to criticize the coaches here? The plan should have been we're benching Zach Wilson, we're going to Boyle, see if we can get a spark. There was no spark today. They had the one drive, and then they went right back to being the Zach Wilson-led Jets. JJ says, I forgot to mention Salah. It would be irresponsible to start Mackay. So, I'm not going to criticize Salah for that. That's gamesmanship. There's a lot of things we can criticize this coach and front office for. Salah saying the other day it'd be irresponsible to put Mackay at left tackle was all part of the plan. He said it'd be irresponsible to play Mackay if he hadn't practiced at that position. He said after the game today, Mackay had practiced at left tackle all week. They knew this was coming. If you watched the show, I basically told you that's what I thought was happening. Because there was no way they were going to put Billy Turner at left tackle and not use Becton, who's their best option, and AVT, who I thought was solid today, minus the 1 penalty. I got to go back and watch the film. This was not an offensive line issue today. This was a quarterback issue. Jet fans, stop me if we've had that conversation before. God. Neil nails it. He was at the game texting me. This feels like Groundhog Day. Zach trying not to turn the ball over and make a mistake. He's afraid to run. Run and waits way too long to run or throw it away. Depressed to go live in the Sprinter. I feel you, Neil. All you need to know is if Neil's too depressed to come on and talk about the Jets, the most optimistic Jet fan out there, what does that tell you? They need to add a quarterback tonight. When did the game end? An hour ago? There should have been a quarterback signed already. Matt Ryan done with his broadcast? I think he did one of the early games. I think he did maybe the Bills-Commanders game. Get him there. It cannot be worse. I don't even think Matt Ryan's any good. I thought he was shot last year. But you know what? He could run an offense. King Lowski up next on the Gus Buster Hotline. King, what do you got?
Hey, man, I'm sick and tired of this, man. I'm sick and tired of this. If the damn coach and head and GM don't realize this quarterback is an incompetent child, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, man. He can't read the damn defense. He can't see it. He cannot see it. He's trash. He is garbage. I've been saying get rid of him. I've been saying we tried. We tried it. It's over with. I'm tired of this, man. That incompetent town cannot quarterback in the NFL. Look with your eyes. I'm tired of this, man. And you know what's so sickening? Tony Romo showing play after play after play. Somebody's wide open. Play after play. It's sickening. Don't blame it on nobody but that incompetent child. I don't want to hear it. JTS, Jets.
If I don't laugh, I'll cry. I mean, Lowski's the most optimistic Jet fan ever. Just teeing off on Zach. He's right, by the way. And then ends it with a Jet chant there. Oh, this fan base is the best. I can't, man. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Romo, who never wants to criticize anyone, is showing you play after play where there's guys open, man. That's just, honestly, what is there to say? This team is so bad. But they're not actually bad. This quarterback is so bad. I feel the defense, once again, just like it's last year all over again, man. And this is not a second guess. They never should have went into the year with Zach as the number 2. Never. I said it all offseason, all summer. I remember I did a show where Saleh at the winter meetings, or whatever they're called in football, the owners' meetings, they're out in Arizona, and the Rodgers deal wasn't done yet. And they asked Saleh, is Zach definitely the number 2? And he said, without question, Zach's the number 2. Free agency hadn't even really started yet. They could have had anyone. What a joke. Let's go to Alex from D.C. We'll keep rolling with your calls. If you're on hold, I promise we will make sure we get to you. So hang in there. Alex from D.C., what's up?
Hey, I'm okay. I'm not even mad. You can't even be mad at Zach, in my opinion, because, he is what he is.
I agree with that. I actually really feel, I hate having to talk about how bad,
exactly.
We understand what the problem is. It's on this GM to fix it. It's enough.
There you go. So that's why I called in, right? Because I'm like this. This is fireable, Jake. You know why? Joe Douglas got to go. Not because he took Zach Wilson, because guess what? Trey Lance and all the other guys, they weren't good either. Even though I didn't want Zach, nothing would have been the right pick that year.
Correct.
But this is why you have to go. Because you are doubling, and maybe this is his personality or whatever, you're doubling down on a bad decision and you're forcing him down our throat rather than cut it. Zach's not an NFL quarterback. He's going to be out of the league this year. He should have been. You're forcing him down our throat, and that's why I think you should be gone, because you didn't do nothing to get a backup. You chose him over Mike White, first off. Like, we didn't watch all last season who was the better quarterback.
They didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to pay Mike White. That's what it came down to. They didn't want to give him the contract that Dolphins gave him.
And you know what? You've been decent with some trades with the tight end you sent to Minnesota and all these guys and stuff like that. But you ain't been that good, bro. You ain't been that good. And you missed on the quarterback, and now you're forcing him down our throat. And now, guess what? One more thing before you cut me off. I don't know. I can't say for certain what we're going to do as this season progresses. I don't know if I don't know if, let's just say we have the 6th overall pick. Michael Penix is sitting there, whoever. I can't say drafting a quarterback would be the wrong decision. So we don't even know what the next 9 to 12 months is going to entail. But I put the blame on Joe Douglas. That's the reason why I'm calling.
Yeah, look, I can't argue with you, Alex. I agree with you. I mean, Joe Douglas has done a lot of good things for this franchise. That's why they came in as one of the teams that had a legitimate path to a Super Bowl this year. I mean, look at the roster from what he inherited to where it is now. It's without question the most talented team they've had on paper since Rex was the coach and Tannenbaum was the GM in 2010. But his failure, first to miss on Wilson and then not to own that he effed up that pick, is costing this team now. They lost today because of inept quarterback play. They didn't even need Aaron Rodgers to win today. They probably win by 3 touchdowns if Aaron's the quarterback. But if I'm watching Josh Dobbs right now, quarterback the Cardinals, to a lead over the same Cowboys team that beat up the Jets last week. Like, I'm sorry, man. Zach Wilson as the backup is one of the worst decisions a Jet GM has made. It's unacceptable. And if they go through another week where they don't add a quarterback, I don't know how you could look this fan base in the face if you're Woody Johnson. How do you go to the parking lot before the game next week, which he always does, and talk to this fan base if you go into next week with no other quarterback on your roster? If they're going to sign someone, that quarterback's got to be ready to play by the Bronco game. Because what's changing when you play the Chiefs next week? You got to get a quarterback in the building. Baker Mayfield had 2 days to learn enough of an offense to play a game for the Rams last year. Get a guy in. You're not beating the Chiefs anyway. And get a guy ready for Denver so you could try and at least be 2-4 at the bye and salvage this season in what seemingly is a pretty mid-AFC so far. 9 wins probably is enough to get you in as the last wild card like it was last year. Seems like a pipe dream right now, talking about the Jets winning 9 games, but that's how you got to look at it if you're Joe Douglas. You have to do something. I mean, Neil nailed it with his comment. It feels like Groundhog's Day. MetaMax says, what are the coaches seeing in Zach in practice? Gamesmanship with Dwayne Brown is cool, but blatantly lying about Zach again and again, shit show. I mean, what's crazy is I think Zach probably is good in practice. That's probably what's so frustrating. Some guys are, there's a saying in baseball, he's a quadruple A player. Esteban Florio, Yankees fans, is that guy. They hit in the minors, they come to the big leagues, they never hit. There's plenty of guys like that. Seems like Zach maybe is that guy. Because we heard about how great he is in practice. Conor McGovern said it. When Zach has his confidence, man, he's a good football player. They see him in practice. I think they overinflate it. I doubt Zach Wilson's lighting it up in practice when all training camp, there's beat reporters covering these practices saying Zach kind of looks the same. His footwork's better, but what does that really mean? The bar was so low. I don't know what these coaches are seeing in practice, man. Maybe Zach, I'm sure he's better in practice than he is in games, right? He has to be, because today was just a joke. But it's not good enough, man. I am done making excuses for Zach Wilson. He is not good. I feel bad having to crap all over him again. It should not be about that. He should not be playing right now for this team. Honestly, it's wrong what they're doing to the kid. It's wrong. Lee says, honest question, Jake, what's the downside to bury Zach? If nothing, why don't they do it? I mean, they should sit him. They should have buried him on the depth chart. He should have been inactive this year as the third quarterback with Colt McCoy, A.J. McCarron, Jacoby Brissett, Mike White, Josh Dobbs. There's a whole list of guys that would come in and be competent. And I went through all of them in the offseason and the summer. So I don't want to be the I told you so guy, but this was my worst nightmare, man. This was my worst goddamn nightmare that I'm living through. To have to do now, what? We got 14 games left, 14 more games talking about this team that had 4 snaps of Aaron Rodgers this year. I can't do it, man. I can't. I'm going to pause. We're going to play the Circa ad because I'm going to get drunk as a skunk in Vegas with all of you. It's going to be incredible. By then, Zach Wilson better not be starting. If not, I'm not making it to this trip. Jake Asman here. I got some great news to share with all of you. You took our exclusive promo code for a discounted stay at the legendary Circa Resort and Casino for Jets Raiders weekend on November 12th, and you turned it into the most successful promo code Circa has ever seen. But guess what? We're rolling out the red carpet with a lineup of extra exclusive events. Get ready for more than just an open bar party. Picture this, a reserved haven at the iconic Stadium Swim where we could soak up the sun and watch college football all together. And that's not all. We're kicking off the game day action with a reserved spot for my listeners at the world's largest indoor sports book to catch the 10 a.m. NFL games the Sunday of Jets Raiders. And then off to the stadium all together. You do not want to miss this incredible weekend. Use my promo code JAKE15. Book your stay today at circalasvegas.com. I can't wait to see all of you at Circa Resort and Casino. I still can't wait to see all of you. Like, Circa's going to be awesome, man. Like, honestly, the Jet season's going to be over by then. We're just going to have a great time at the sports book. We're going to gamble, stadium swim. It's going to be incredible. Like, I cannot wait. But, I mean, let's be real. There's no way that game is staying on Sunday Night Football. I mean, let's call it for what it is, all right? That game is not kicking off at 5:20 Pacific time. That's going to be buried in the 4 o'clock window. We're going to have, like, Spiro Ditas and Adam Archuleta on the call for that one. I'll be going to that game. I can't wait. Oh, man. For those of you coming, maybe wait to buy your tickets, see what the Jet record is. Because you're going to get tickets a lot cheaper than they are now, the way this is going. God. So depressing, man. This whole season, man. Well, they're 1-2, and it feels like it's already off the rails because of Zach Wilson again. How is that possible that we're reliving last year again? It makes no sense. Ugh. Let's go to John. He's up next on the Gusbuster hotline. What's up, John?
Hey, Jake. Oh, man, what can I say? Here we are again, Here we are again. I just got to, let me just say like two things. First off, I don't want to hear, I don't want to see, and I don't want to ever interact with people that are going to come in here and give excuses for Zach Wilson. CJ Stroud is missing 4 offensive linemen and threw 2 touchdowns and 250-plus. Keenan freaking Williams threw a touchdown. Keenan Allen, threw a touchdown pass today. Where is the excuse for Zach Wilson?
Yep.
You have Alan Lazard on the sideline, open on half the plays. Garrett Wilson can beat Christian Gonzalez 80% of the time, maybe 90. And you can't even throw it. Come on, man. The offensive line today, I will say, was easily the best looking we've had so far in all 3 games.
Agreed, by far. They were the biggest issue for the offense today, by far.
Jake, when I saw Zach, he did a pirouette and he dropped to the ground. The Patriots defense looked at him on the ground, wondering which one of us did that. Oh, it was him? Okay. So now, right? I really feel for Saleh just in this instance right now because the very first thing that the media was going to ask him was about Wilson. No question. Yep. And again, it's just so stupid, man. Like, I understood everybody going off about like how, they have to baby Wilson, they have to do all that. It's getting to that point. Like, I feel for the players so much. All of them having confidence. I get it. That's their brotherhood. That's the team. But my God, the dude can't play.
No.
It's okay to accept that. Joe Douglas, you won the freaking trust of the most beaten down fan base in the NFL. And you are pissing on it right now. You're telling me you can't go out and get a Carson Wentz? A.J. McCarron got signed by the Bengals, and nobody's going off on them. Sure, Burrow's hurt, but you're kidding me with this. I can't, man. Like, everybody thought the AFC was going to be this unbelievable gauntlet. And the 1 year where the Bengals are looking like garbage, the Jaguars are looking like frauds, the Chiefs looked like a freaking shadow of themselves until recently. Who knows? Maybe against us, they'll go back to being, 15-2 after that? Who freaking knows? I am just asking for once, get a quarterback that can actually read a defense. Get a quarterback that can go through his progressions and make simple plays. You have a multitude of weapons, everyone around you. And you're telling me that we are wasting them. Breece Hall ran for less than 50 yards today. Garrett Wilson received less than 40, it felt. Maybe he got more. I don't freaking know. I can't, man. Zach Wilson, I will not set foot in MetLife Stadium again until he is no longer wearing a Jets uniform. I don't care if that means he doesn't play anymore. I don't care about anything about that. If it means that I don't set foot on that field until they waive him, so be it. I can't do it anymore. I've waited so long for a Jets season like this just to have all these amazing weapons around. And on top of that, we almost lost Quinn Williams today. You think the defense is going to be thinking about that? They put out an actual effort, at least to hold them to 13 points, even though they should have gotten at least 3 sacks. It didn't happen. Whatever, we move on. The defense can't be asked to do this again, man.
I know.
Jeez, it's like
John,
last year.
John, you nailed it, man. Good call. I feel your pain, man. I do. It's last year all over again. The Jets they have a top 3 defense in the league, weapons galore, and they can't get the ball to them. Looks like Mahomes just rolled his ankle, so I'm looking forward to Patrick Mahomes on one leg still being good enough to beat the Jets next week as Zach Wilson goes out there and throws for 87 yards passing. God. They should put Kelsey in at quarterback. Taylor Swift's in the building if you haven't seen that one. God, can we stop with the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey stuff? We get it, all right? We get it. We're going to hear about that all week as the Jets play the Chiefs. Who cares? God, I can't. I'm like my love of football is dying having to watch Zach Wilson every week. I can't do this. This is all I love. I love football, and it is being destroyed having to watch this quarterback play for this team. I can't. Bang Mateo back from the realm says I can't talk to Jake Klein like that. Actually, I can because Jake Klein came in saying, "Oh, I told you so. Where are you Jet fans who were saying support Zach?" The whole point of supporting him was we had no choice. It's not that you can't be critical of him. Omari says, what's our record the rest of the way with Zach? I mean, if he plays the next 14 games, 4 wins, right? They won 4 games with him as a rookie. They're probably a 4 or 5 win team with him. He's that bad. I mean, think about how bad he was today, and a fluke Hail Mary, they actually could have stole this one if Randall Cobb was somehow able to come down with that. Like, think about that. That's why I'm not giving up on this year. Because as bad as Zach is, this team around him is good enough to still make the playoffs. They are. Look at the AFC. I think our last caller, John, nailed it. The Ravens today lost at home to the Colts in overtime. The Broncos suck. The Browns just destroyed the Titans. I don't think Cleveland's that good. Who's good in the AFC right now? We know the Bills are good. Guess what? The Jets actually beat the Bills. They should have beat the Patriots. We really trust the Chargers because they beat the Vikings. They're back. Who do we trust in tonight's Sunday Night Football mid-off between the Steelers and the Raiders? Like, it's criminal, man. If Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback, the Jets would be right there as the best team in the AFC. But that's not an excuse to leave Zach Wilson out there and do nothing, Joe Douglas. Get off your ass and sign a quarterback or trade for one because it's not acceptable for Zach Wilson to remain the starter. Because the fact that he played the entire game today tells me that they have no faith in Tim Boyle, so why is he on the team? Get a better backup for Boyle then. Someone could have been here 2 weeks ago learning this offense and maybe could have came in today to bail you out and win this game. Because you needed 1 touchdown today and you could have won. I mean, think about how bad your offense is. The NFL average in points scored a year ago was 22 points. And the Jets, game 1, 16. Game 2, 10. Game 3, 10. I mean, the last 2 games, they are 12 points under the average of what an offense is supposed to be in the modern NFL. Sean says, it's not just Zach. We all know he's horrible, but where are the trick plays? No end arounds, no wildcat. Zach can't run the ball. Fair. I think they have no faith in him. And I think he's just missing guys that are open. So it's truly tough to evaluate this offense when he's gun shy, man. The O-line gave him time. Last week, the O-line was shit. We all understand what happened last week. I'm not even blaming Zach for last week. I didn't. They gave him time today. I mean, the Jets offense through 3 games is averaging 12 points a game. 12. Small Health Jet Petroleum. 4th and 10 check down, game on the line. Tells me everything I need to know about so-called professional quarterback. It's inexcusable. I mean, that play was a joke. How about taking a safety when that's the last thing you could do in that spot? You're backed up in your own end zone. Get rid of it. You can't take a safety there to make a field goal game, now a situation where you need a touchdown when your offense is incapable of seemingly doing that. Ken from San Diego follows up. Zach is not a ready pro quarterback, no doubt about it. I hope a change is made, but Douglas is stubborn and Saleh has no choice. JD calls shots. Team arguing already. See you in Vegas. I'll tell you what, Ken, I look forward to meeting you. because Vegas will be fun either way, but just brutal. Douglas has to do something, man. He's too smart of a football guy to go down like this. I refuse to believe. Just like I refuse to believe Billy Turner was playing left tackle for this team today. I refuse to believe they're going to do nothing at quarterback for another week. No way. A credited drive. Last time I felt like this is when we lost Pennington and Fiedler, 2 plays, and I knew we were starting Brooks Bollinger the rest of the way. He would be an upgrade, Brooks Bollinger. What was it, the 05 season? God, that was the worst year ever. Ugh. Palace says, agree, Zach's the worst, but Matt Ryan and Wentz played as bad as Zach in the Pats game and many games last year. Heineke will be better and help in a few games. Heineke's under contract. You can't get him. Wentz and Ryan are better than Zach Wilson. They did not play as bad as Zach maybe did today. And if they did, guess what? 1 game. We have seen Zach Wilson have this exact game how many times the last couple of years? So you want the Jets to do nothing? They should just stick with Zach? Because your suggestion of Heineke is not going to work. They're not trading him when they need a backup in Atlanta to Ritter. And Derek Carr got hurt today, by the way. So there goes Jameis Winston for those who wanted Winston. They're not trading a quality backup. This is why you get one in the offseason. Manny says 2 of 14 on third downs, 8 doing bleep. 0 sacks from the D, 38 total rushing yards. Look, the defense, I agree. You'd like them to force some more turnovers. But it's tough when they're on the field the entire game, and ultimately they only gave up 13 points. I get it. We'd like turnovers. And I'm sure, the Joe Beningos of the world are going to harp on that. They allowed 13 points. If you had a below-average offense, you win today. I'm sorry, I feel stupid as a Jet fan blaming the defense when the quarterback is that bad. Yes, they need to run the ball better. I agree. But, how am I blaming other people when this team refuses to acknowledge the biggest issue on the team? Doesn't it start with that? That's my point. Let's go to Adam in Costa Rica. He's up next. What's up, Adam?
What's up, brother? You are absolutely right, man. At the core, bad quarterback play exposes all of these things that could have been better, right? Could they have done trick plays? Could they have run the ball more? Could the defense have gotten off the field on third down? Could they have had more pressure on the Patriots quarterback? Could they? Yeah. All that stuff just gets heightened because of terrible quarterback play. I mean, if he's the 50th best quarterback in the league, I think that's a stretch. I mean, I would be completely fine with them cutting him tomorrow. He is not at this point. The only reason I think they're keeping him around is that we've seen it with some players where 3, 4, 5 years in, something clicks for them and they get good or reasonable. That's a possibility. But at this point in time, there's no hope. He is not an NFL quarterback right now.
It's brutal, man. It's tough. And once again, it doesn't feel good to say that. It sucks. No. He should not be playing right now. Honestly, we've beaten the Zach Wilson dead horse. It's enough. We know what he is. They have to do something. They cannot waste another season with Zach Wilson playing more games for this team. They just can't.
I mean, I think the Carson Wentz, obviously, they don't want to upset the positive vibes in the building, and I'm with that. Do I bring in a Ryan? That hurts because, man, Ryan was not good last year. I mean, if you saw him, he was not good. What are the options? It's so terrible because literally I remember watching shows where you were talking about this, and this literally was the worst case scenario. And here we are. But man, sometimes it's darkest before the dawn, my friend. So
that's what Rodgers said. I hope he comes back. Look, all is forgiven if he comes back next year. It leads the team to a championship. Can we fast forward to September of next year, though? I can't do this year again.
I just can't do this year. Hey, man. I appreciate it, man.
Good call, Adam. Adam's one of my favorite callers because he's got a better microphone setup than I do, better camera than I do, and he's in Costa Rica and always brings it. Love that. It's just unbelievable. Nick Kerr says, Pats still own you. Congrats on beating Zach Wilson yet again, you moron Patriot fan. You're going to take pride in this win. Your team is going nowhere. Your head coach continues to be exposed as someone who can't win without Tom Brady. See ya.
Into the shadow realm you go.
Aaron Rodgers is another sudden Liz Frank injury due to failure to vaccinate. I'm the dumbest person I know.
Get your 5th booster, Keith.
If you're a Pats fan and you're celebrating this is some great win, have fun against the Cowboys next week. Any mediocre offense can beat this Patriots team. Mac Jones is so average, it's not even funny. And I would die for Mac Jones, the quarterback of the Jets. That's how bad Zach Wilson is. But congrats on beating the Jets. You really earned it, Pats fan. Great job scoring a whole 13 points today. Manny says 2 of 4. I already read that one. Let me catch up on some Super Chats here. We'll get back to the calls. Thanks to everyone for the Super Chats and the support. I truly appreciate it. I have to go to the Chiefs game next week, and I'm dreading it. I paid to see Rodgers, not this crap. I'm disgusted. I paid good money to see Dak Prescott versus Zach Wilson last week. I get it. It sucks. This was the worst possible scenario. And this only happens to us Jet fans. He played 4 plays for us and then got hurt for the year. You can't make it up. Justin says, we have Hardman, we don't use him. I know. It makes no sense to me. Lee says, why is Salah defending Zach? It's a joke. Because that's his MO. That's what he does. Paige says, enough with Zach. You were believers last week. No, we talked about how there's a path for Zach to potentially still win games with this team. I am not a believer in Zach. If you think I'm a believer in Zach, you are not listening to this show. All right? Dumb. Nick was actually somewhat encouraged by Zach's chances with the Pats here. He wasn't saying he was going to be great, but he was saying he would be good enough and the players around him would make enough plays. He was not good enough. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He was terrible today. Honestly, the final stat line for Zach, I don't even think actually shows how bad he was. 18 of 36 for 157, no touchdowns, no picks, 61 quarterback rating. That's bad. But this was one of his worst games. He had one good drive. Everything else sucked. It was putrid. Missing guys, afraid to throw downfield. It was bad. Weege, huge super chat. Thank you, Weege. All the quarterbacks I've watched in my lifetime. Boomer, O'Donnell, Testaverde, Lucas, Pennington, Bollinger, Clemens, Favre, Sanchez, McElroy, Smith, Vick, Petty, Fitz, McCown, Darnold, Flacco, White, Wilson. This team makes me hate myself for liking them. Yeah, I mean, look, the problem is with that list, you were supposed to have Aaron Rodgers on it. You were going to finally get a chance to watch all-time great quarterback play. It's painful, man. Brutal. Testaverde gave you 98 in a couple good years. Chad was good when he was healthy. Favre was good till he got hurt. Sanchez was never great in the regular season, but stepped up in the playoffs. This list is trash, though. But I'll tell you what, all those names, with probably the exception of maybe McElroy and Petty, maybe Bollinger, maybe, are all better than Zach Wilson. And that's sad. I mean, it's just, how could the second pick in the draft be this bad? But you know what? He is. And the Niners said, hey, we got it wrong with Trey Lance. We'll see you later. The Jets have to do the same with Zach. He can't play for this team again. Dark Knight says, Zach is a total head case. He doesn't have it upstairs to be an NFL QB. Time to move on and sign anyone. He can't read defense progress through reads and lacks confidence. It's unfortunate. Rapidly approaching fire sale time. I mean, I don't think they're going to be selling at the deadline. I don't. A lot of the players on this team are signed. That's what's criminal about this, man. You have Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Sauce Gardner. You have these guys on rookie contracts, and we're wasting one of their years where you're not paying them, where you could have this roster. It's brutal, man. Arizona Jets says, skipping Denver, Josh Dobbs look better. Josh Dobbs wins the Jets this game today easily if he's quarterback for them. Arizona Jets on JD not getting a backup. Wentz wins today. If they had signed Carson Wentz 13 days ago and he could have came in today, he could have sparked them and gave them a drive where they could have won today. Not a crazy take at all. I agree with you. Dark Knight says, if the Jets are 1-9 at Circa, maybe we just stay at the casino. I'd rather bet my tickets at the blackjack table. Not a bad idea. Circa has tremendous casino games. Honestly. Lee says, so explosive to see offense around the league while we deal with this crap for years. So depressing. Lee, you're right, man. It is. It's just criminal to be doing this, dude. Oh, my God. This is the Jaguar postgame show all over again. We're here. It's week 3. Mac Daddy says, see you in Vegas. Hope there's great lounge acts playing. I'm sure there will be. Altoona says, can't wait to get drunk in Vegas at Circa. We're going to have a great time. Anyone who's coming with me to Vegas at Circa, and you guys have made it the most successful promo code they've ever had, I promise you we're going to have a blast regardless of where the Jets are at then. We'll go to Daniel on the Gus Buster hotline. He's up next. Daniel, what's going on?
How are you, Jake? I can't even get mad. I can't get angry anymore. I'm just depressed. Ever since I saw Aaron Rodgers go down, something in me left. It was supposed to be different this year. It was supposed to be our year this year. And now we're back with Zach Wilson. And what pisses me off the most is the coddling, the fake smiles, the fake enthusiasm, the fake compliments. It's just not going to work. We got to move on. And honestly, I don't think Wentz and Ryan is an upgrade, but you might be an upgrade, or at least a sidestep.
But don't they have to try and do that, right? With this team being what it is, don't they have to try and do something like, I'm not going to try and pretend Carson Wentz makes the Jets a Super Bowl contender. He can maybe make you a competent offense at some point.
Yeah, but I would say the season's lost unless we get Cousins. If we can't get Cousins, I'd rather tank the season and get Marvin Harrison for just a new toy for Aaron Rodgers. But if we get Cousins, we have a chance. But I don't know if Cousins on the market.
Daniel, appreciate it, man. Look, Cousins, I think, would be the best potential option. I don't think you're a Super Bowl team necessarily with Kirk Cousins. I mean, I would say this. If the Jets are as bad as what our last caller talked about, where they're in the range for Marvin Harrison, you're drafting one of the quarterbacks that high. All right? And that guy's sitting for 2 years behind Aaron Rodgers. And we're doing this the right way for once. That guy's not seeing the field. By the way, C.J. Stroud's played 3 games. He is so much better than anything I've ever seen from Zach Wilson. This summer covers the Texans down here in Houston. And does a Texans show once a week with a notable Texans insider. I mean, C.J. Stroud's look good. And he's down 4 of his 5 offensive linemen. What's the excuse for Zach? All I hear is the O-line, this and that. Well, the O-line was good today, and they did nothing. He sucks. If you're trying to defend Zach Wilson at this point, I don't have time for you. You're going right into the realm. He is not good. All right? It's bad for my health. I cannot do it. RJ says, can we talk future for a moment? We have to mortgage the future for a high pick quarterback and O-lineman in 2024. The O-line was not the problem today. This is the wrong day to bring up the O-line. Quarterback is what you mortgage your future for. They traded a first to get Aaron Rodgers. They're now going to actually have that first this year. Take a quarterback with it, no matter where you are. Carpetbagger says, Jake, consider going state by state and doing a show and party in every state in the nation. Want a new quarterback and to forget today's game. Man, I just wish I just wish they found a way to win today, man. End this streak. It's now 15 games, man. And you know what's criminal? They don't see the Patriots again until the last game of the regular season. And by then, who knows where the Jets are. This was the game to change the season. Get the 2-1 on the year. Embarrassing. Peg McGuire / Artie Kaiser right in. Jake, please watch your blood pressure. Please go enjoy a Chipotle bowl on us. Bad day in the party with the Peg and Artie house. Yeah, Peg and Artie, thank you guys for the support. It's tough. It's tough. The Chipotle tastes worse after a loss. It's unfortunate. Especially a loss to the Patriots. Let's go to Johnny. He's up next on our show. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, Jake. Just I nominate to send myself to the Shadow Realm for having to watch Zach Wilson play today. And that's really all I have to say.
Johnny, appreciate your support. We're not going to send you to the Shadow Realm, though. We love you too much. Let's go to V-Man. He's up next on our show. V-Man, what do you got for us?
Hey, Jake. How you doing? You know how bad it is?
How bad is it?
I turned off the game. I turned the game halfway through and just opened Starfield from Bethesda and cracked open this new bottle of artisanal Puerto Rican rum.
V-Man drinking. What else is new?
It's just frustrating. It's like pushing Zach Wilson. There's only one thing I hate more than the pushing Zach Wilson down our throats. And that is Hispanic Heritage Month and people still trying to make Latin X a thing. Please just stop. Those are the 2 things that I hate right now.
Why don't you like Latin Heritage Month?
No, I don't. I said no. I don't like the phrase "let the term Latin X"
Okay.
because it doesn't make sense. Because but yeah, it's frustrating. Just call it what it is. He's not good. Look, we've seen it. Numerous quarterbacks have run these offenses, had success. It's frustrating as hell for us to see. You gotta just accept it. You whiffed. It happens. Be an adult. Accept you made a mistake, and move on.
I
You'll be
agree.
okay with it.
They have to, V-Man. They have to. Douglas needs to call you up, and you got to tell him the same thing, and make sure you mention the Latinx thing to him as well. I needed that call from V-Man, man. I really did. It's been a tough day. Dante says, can we finally talk about benching Wilson and cutting him? He's bad. Did you just tune in after the first 90 minutes? What do you think we've been talking about, Dante? Yeah, we might have brought up that it might be time to replace Zach Wilson. Carpet says, "Hey Jake, I'm drunk. I will be shortly. I'm thank you to the Fireman Ed for the birthday beers. His beer is awesome. I just wish I could drink it after a Jet win over the goddamn Patriots." NYJ Manny, I meant Zach has no pocket presence, one check down. He's just not good. I mean, how many ways can we say Zach Wilson sucks? Honestly, it's not him anymore. He is what he is. This is on this front office. If they don't make a change this week, I am out on Joe Douglas. I can't sit here and talk about all the good he's done and ignore the black hole over this team right now. This defense allowed 13 points and they lost. Mac Jones is not good, but he can complete enough passes to get a team in field goal range a couple times. That's all the Jets needed today. They would have won going away. MetaMac, man, and you laughing at Latinx cheered me up. Yeah, I mean, if you can't laugh at a V-Man call, then we've lost all hope as a fan base. Dante says, I'm talking about the organization, not you. Let's bench Wilson and cut him. I am talking about the organization. Yes. I don't think Joe Douglas is watching my postgame right now. I don't think he's one of the 1,300 in here. If he is, Joe, there should be a quarterback signed by now. I'm giving you till 7 Eastern. I mean, what are we doing, man? Matt Ryan's game ended hours ago that he was broadcasting. Carson Wentz is probably done hunting for the day. Get him in the building. Anyone is an upgrade. I'm not trying to sell those guys as significant game changers, but they have been NFL quarterbacks that have had some success at various points in somewhat recent memory. Zach Wilson's never had it. Ever. More of your calls right now. Dan B is on the Gus Buster hotline. Dan B, what do you got for us?
Jake, how we doing?
Oh, I am great, Dan B. I've never been better.
Thanks for having me on. We know Zach Wilson is awful. Like, he was terrible last year, and unfortunately we're seeing the same thing play out. But you're absolutely right. The fact that 13 days ago they did not get another quarterback in here to compete, learn the offense, is just malpractice on Douglas's part. It really is. Like, today was exactly what I thought would happen. There was going to be a low-scoring game in the rain, and they were going to need Zach Wilson to make a couple big plays, and he couldn't do it. And it was disappointing. Like last year, at halftime of that Patriots game, they lost on the punt. I wanted them to bring in, make a change at quarterback at halftime. Won the same thing today. You cannot tell me that Tim Boyle is a worse option than what we're getting out of Zach Wilson right now. Today was really just the epitome of what we've seen, but Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive play calling, was just dreadful as usual. No McCole Hardman. There's no creativity. Like, there's no it's like HB dive, and they're running these stretch runs to the right and left, but there's no creativity. Like, we know Zach sucks, but try and create lanes for him to at least get going. They did it on that one touchdown drive. It looked like maybe they were getting something together, but at the end of the day, they're just not winning any games with this guy. And if they don't make a change now, I agree with you. I'm overlooking anything else Douglas has done. This is absolute dog crap that this guy is still playing quarterback for the Jets. He stinks.
It's enough.
It's enough.
Enough. They tried it one more time. It has failed. Admit it, it's not working, and do something about it, because as bad as it is right now, you are 1-2. I'm looking at the AFC right now, and it is still right there for you to be a 9 or 10 win team and be a playoff team if you got average quarterback play. They allowed 13 points today and lost.
It is a disservice to the other 52 guys in that damn locker room that they're playing this fucking moron. Sorry, but they're playing this guy. Horrible.
He stinks.
Sucks. It's enough. It is enough.
Good call, Dan. I can't argue with that. I'm not going to call Zach a moron. He's just not a good quarterback. I mean, it is what it is. It's tough, man. We're at a point where I feel bad for Zach Wilson. I don't feel good saying he sucks. Look, here's something for Zach Wilson to hold his head high on. He's made more money than 99.9% of the audience that's watching right now. All right? He got $35 million guaranteed the second he signed his contract. He'll always have that. But he's not a good quarterback. Maybe one day he will be, but it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen in all likelihood ever for the Jets. I would take, once again, Aaron Rodgers in a goddamn wheelchair over what I watched today. It's enough. Daryl says things need to change. Amen. Dante writes in, is it possible for Woody to force Joe Douglas to find a vet? This is malpractice. And that's what I would be doing. If I'm Woody Johnson, I'm banging on Joe Douglas's door right now saying, we got to get someone in here, man. At the minimum, just to show the other, as Dan talked about our last call, the other 52 guys on the roster, we care. NYJ Hattie says, I need Hennessy on my taxes if this season continues down the same path. Yeah, man. I mean, it's brutal, man. Cole and PJ, if you guys get your cameras on, we'll go to you while we wait for that. Wildcard 14, you're up next on the show. What's up, Wildcard?
What's up, Jake? Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Oh man, so at this point, I'm just drinking at this point. So cheers to you, man.
That's all we got. Cheers.
The worst part of this game was me watching Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson just not get on the same page on the sideline. And that was just demoralizing because that's our whole team right there. So, I mean, can we get something? Can Mr. Hackett get involved in this and get the ball to our best playmaker? I don't know.
Good call. And it's also a problem that goes back to last year with Zach and Garrett. Garrett Wilson did not catch a touchdown from Zach Wilson last year in 9 games. And Garrett still won Offensive Rookie of the Year, to put in perspective how freaking good he is. It's not acceptable, man. How those guys cannot get on the same page is baffling because we saw Garrett Wilson make plays with Joe Flacco. We saw Garrett Wilson make plays with Mike White. And obviously, if we watched Hard Knocks or the one preseason game Aaron played in, we saw a lot of Garrett Wilson making plays. I mean, 48 yards for the best player on the field today. It's not good enough, man. And yet, look, the play calling, I think, could feature more screens. They tried it on the first play. And Garrett slipped. But they didn't do that enough. And Garrett's open and Zach's not finding him. I don't want to hear Garrett's covered. I'm sure we're going to watch the All-22 and see a bunch of guys that are open. And Romo, who, once again, all you need to know about how bad Zach Wilson was, Tony Romo, who never wants to criticize a quarterback. It's like, the quarterback club thing. Like, Sean Payton broke the rule where you don't criticize other coaches. The quarterbacks do the same thing. And Tony Romo was even like, man, I think they got to bench him, Jim. I don't know, Jim. God, that booth is unlistenable, man. Awful. But Romo was right when he was talking about that. PJ, you're up next on our show. What's up, PJ?
What's up, Jay?
What's up, PJ?
Man, I mean, the only thing I gotta say is that I feel sorry for Garrett Wilson, man.
Me too. I feel sorry for us.
I mean, I'm coming to see. I'm thinking he might break Brandon Marshall's receiving record and all that, just for Aaron Rodgers to have 4 plays.
Pain, PJ. A lot of pain. I mean, I had a plus 3,600 Garrett Wilson Offensive Player of the Year bet. I was looking forward to cashing in February. Should we just go rip that up now? Cole, what's up? You're up next on the hotline. What's up, Cole?
Jake, my man, can you hear me?
We hear you, Cole.
All right, baby. Look, at first, the Jet fans was driving me crazy, Jake. But what I'm sitting here thinking is we just need to go for it. What I mean by go for it, we haven't had a quarterback sit behind Aaron Rodgers that was competent since I don't know how long. We have been scared as a franchise. We have had Mark Brunell. We have been scared to get competent backups to push our quarterbacks since forever. Clemens, we didn't want to, we don't have a quarterback competition. We don't have a quarterback, period. I don't think it makes sense, Jake, to be honest with you, to sign anyone. Let this kid stink up the joint. Let's go get our quarterback. Let him sit behind a franchise quarterback and learn to be a quarterback. Because one thing I do know is that we can't develop a quarterback.
No.
So maybe Aaron Rodgers can.
I agree, Cole. Good call. I would draft the quarterback no matter where they're picking in the first round this year. You want to spin the Rodgers injury into some sort of maybe like big picture positive, because there isn't any positives, because we're watching Zach Wilson right now, and I don't even want to entertain that thought. But you take a quarterback, and as long as Aaron wants to play, that guy sits behind Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron sat behind Favre, like Jordan Love sat behind Aaron. And that's what happens. Because I could not stomach the Jets drafting a quarterback when they're really high and playing them right away, and it's a nightmare all over again. Do something different this time. That guy's sitting for 2 years. That's what I would do. I mean, just brutal. How are we talking about the draft? It's September 24th. It's ridiculous. Dan writes in, Jake needs to let Zach Wilson, needs to get Zach Wilson on the Gus Buster. Yeah, I'm sure we'd all love to hear from Zach right now. I feel bad for him. What am I going to say to him, Zach? Why do you suck? It is what it is. If I'm Robert Saleh, I would tell Zach Wilson to go read a book again, because you're not playing quarterback for this team. Arizona Jet, you're up next. What's up, Arizona?
Can you hear me, Jake?
We hear you.
Zach Wilson is not even a second stringer. He's not even a backup right now. He's a third stringer. I don't even know if we could beat Denver right now. Because on the schedule, you see Kansas City and you see the Eagles. I don't even think we could even beat Denver right now. So we might be 1-5 by the time we go to week 7. We need a quarterback. I don't know what they're doing. If they just decide not to get a quarterback for the rest of the year, what does that mean? I mean, these fans are going to riot.
Yeah, there's just no way they're going to do nothing at quarterback. There's no way. I just like I refuse to believe they were not going to play Becton at left tackle today.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe this performance will, and they're just going to do nothing.
It was bad. I mean, the O-line played better. It was painful watching that game, man.
Awful.
It was just like
they should have won.
Like what you said, it was like the Jaguar game all over again.
It was like the last New England game. I mean, it's just you nailed it, man. I don't know what more could be said. They need to add a quarterback. I mean, Baker Mayfield got acquired by the Rams last year. 2 days later, played on a Thursday night, and guess what? They won. It could be done. I mean, I'm not asking for someone to come in and be Aaron Rodgers. We need someone to not play like dog crap. All right? Josh Dobbs is playing pretty well for the Cardinals right now. He was available. All these guys available. They do nothing. Tough. It is tough to stomach. Tristan says, how do you call in? You click the link that's pinned in the comments to the Gusbuster hotline. If we have 12 callers on hold, though, it won't let you in. So that's why I got to rapid fire through some more calls here. Corey writes in, I'm trying so hard to rationalize the team's plan moving forward, but I cannot figure it out for the life of me. It's either play to win or play to evaluate Wilson. You can't do both. Evaluate Wilson? What is there to evaluate? We're 3 years in. He hasn't gotten better. C.J. Stroud's played 3 games. He's had 2 games already that Zach Wilson in his dreams has never had. And I get it. Sometimes quarterbacks play bad their first couple of years. They figure it out by now. Zach's played enough. He's the same guy. He's not good. If he wasn't the second pick in the draft, he'd be out of the league right now. Think about that. If Zach was not picked second overall, let's say he was a 6th-round pick. Let's say he was Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. He would not be on a team right now. He'd be in Canada. He'd be in the XFL. Christian Hackenberg was a 2nd-round pick. Look how quick he bounced out of the league. Zach is only being saved because he was the 2nd pick in the draft. That's it. And they had this delusion that Aaron Rodgers was going to wave pixie dust on Zach Wilson and he was going to magically be good. Which I never bought for a goddamn second. If you watch this show, go check the tapes. Jet Lag, you're up next on the hotline. What's up, Jet Lag?
Hey, Jake. First time, long time. You can hear me?
We hear you.
All right, I want to make it quick for everybody else, but I'm gonna have three things. So, first, Zach was so bad he had the fans spitting out their teeth. That's how bad he was this game.
I saw that. Yeah, it was brutal. Oh.
Second, why is it people say that Wentz is a cancer, but when we have anybody else go out for Zach, it seems the team always plays better.
Amazing.
And third, it's insult to injury that we lost them 15 times and they beat us 15 points. And that last 2 points came off that safety by Zach.
You're not wrong. Good call. It's just brutal. The Patriots are not good, man. They're really not. They're going to have a losing season again. If the Cowboys could figure out how to beat the Cardinals here, even honestly, it might actually be better for us Jet fans who want to see the demise of the Pats if Dallas loses, because then there's no way coming back home they're going to lose to New England. No way. We'll go to Alex. He's up next on our show. What's up, Alex?
Jake, what's going on? This is just absolutely miserable right now. There's a reason why it was such a prominent offseason topic to talk about quarterback too. And it wasn't just to excuse my language, it wasn't just to shit on Zach, but it was because so many of us legitimately believed that if this guy even had to play 2, 3, 4 games, that he could have lost us the damn season. Forget about Rodgers being out for the year. We were worried about him even playing 2 or 3 games.
Sure.
This is not a hindsight thing. This is something that was a big offseason topic. Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh from February, basically, were saying Zach's the number 2. That's it. There was no consideration. And now even after Aaron Rodgers gets injured, they go into week 2, week 3 with the same opinion that, well, Zach's now a number 1 quarterback. We're not going to do anything. We're only keeping Tim Boyle and promoting him because he might be the one guy who's actually worse than Zach. And we're going to go tell every free agent quarterback here that you guys have no chance to beat out Zach, so we cannot sign anybody and try to save face in front of the public. I mean, it's complete incompetence. And
that has to change now, Alex. You would think, like, because of the level at which he was that terrible, you would think all bets are off. Ownership has to get involved if it's not the case, and they get a quarterback signed.
It has to be. And look, the thing is also, like, I watch this team. I got to get on Saleh because these personnel decisions are disastrous. CJ Uzomah should not be playing 31 damn snaps, and Ruckert should not be playing 1 snap. He told everybody this past week.
Is that what the final total was for Ruckert? He played 1 snap today?
I would take, per Michael Mania, that was what his final.
He played 1 at halftime, so I don't know if that was updated for the second. Either way, I'm with you. The personnel usage, look, it's further down on the list of problems, but yes, it's a problem. I agree.
And this has been a constant problem under Saleh. I thought maybe with Mike LaFleur leaving after last year, I'm like, okay, maybe this was a Mike LaFleur thing. Clearly, it was not just a Mike LaFleur thing. This is a Robert Saleh thing as well, because you're seeing it extended to Nathaniel Hackett too. You're seeing Dalvin Cook getting way too much use relative to Breece Hall. You're seeing Randall Cobb, for some reason, stay on the field the entire game when Mecole Hardman can't even touch the field. Someone who, not a great receiver, but he at least offers speed and juice. You've seen what Xavier Gibson can offer in terms of speed and juice. I mean, so many examples. Carl Lawson. I didn't even see Will McDonald out there. I know Carl Lawson played snaps. I didn't notice those snaps, but I just do not understand that the personnel. This has been an issue throughout Saleh's coaching career here now, and it needs to be something that's seriously called out and rectified by him.
Yeah, look, good call. Fair. Biggest personnel problem is he didn't bench Zach Wilson today, though. I want to start with that. Tim Boyle could have gave this team a spark. He might not be any good. I'd like to find out. He can't be worse than what I saw today. He can't. If he is, then why is he on the team? That's a bad look for Joe Douglas. If Boyle is somehow worse. I mean, once again, if you missed it, this was Saleh on why Zach for now is being kept as the starter, which I don't buy for a second.
Has Zach shown you enough to keep him as the starter going forward?
Yeah, he's fine. That's not a question.
At what point do you just decide maybe, you don't want to let the season get away from you? So do you continue to go, like if it continues to go in this bad direction?
We're still early in the season. We knew that even with Aaron at quarterback, we knew that there was going to be some hiccups along the way because of the new offense, new play caller, new O-line, new.
I'm not playing the rest of that answer. He's fine. No, he's not. He sucks. That's the most aggressive you're going to get from Saleh. He knows the quarterback sucks. When Saleh, all he could say is he's fine. Anyone who's listened to Robert Saleh for more than 5 minutes knows what he's truly thinking. He's not happy. I know everyone's killing Saleh for what he said about sticking with Zach. He has to say that publicly. I don't think Zach starts next week, personally. And if he does, I think it's because they don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs anyway. They're going to get a quarterback ready for the Bronco game, which is infinitely winnable 2 weeks from now. Sean Payton allowing 70 points today. God. That's what Aaron Rodgers was going to do a week from now. 2 weeks from now, whatever. We'll go back to Johnny. Let's see if he's figured out his Wi-Fi issues. Johnny.
Jake, what's up? You can hear me now, man?
Yeah, there might be an echo, Johnny. Yep, there is an echo. So here's what we're going to do. You make your point, and then that's it. And I'll respond. Go ahead.
I got you. My only point is, Jake, is I'm wondering where this is coming from, where the love for Zach is coming from. Because I see Salah, and I'm like, man, I love what he's doing with the rest of the team, but why with Zach? And then I see Douglas, and I'm like, man, I love all the moves he's making, but why with Zach? And then Woody Johnson showed like a thing to bring in Rodgers this offseason, but you're still with Zach. So where's this love affair with Zach coming from? That's all I want to know. Where's it coming from? Because it makes no damn sense, Jake, at all. That's all I have to say.
Good call, Johnny. Where's it coming from? Their plan was for Zach to never play, and he was going to get a redshirt year. The problem with that plan was if Rodgers got hurt. Now, no one could have predicted he would have got hurt 4 plays in. Nobody. But this was the fear that I had. Hey, what if Rodgers rolls an ankle, has to miss 2 to 4 games? What if he has a concussion or something? And their thought process was, well, we think Zach by then will have shown enough where we can have faith in him as the backup. I mean, he's not good. They should have had a better quarterback already in-house. They're 1-2. There's time to fix this. But if they don't, and they keep putting Zach Wilson out there, they're starting 1-5 at their bye, and it's over. So, figure it out. You got to at least be 2-4 into the bye somehow to have any chance. Even then, we're not going to feel great, but you have to do something because this fan base deserves better. We should not have to watch. It's year 3 of this. Jason says, how about Davis Mills from the Texans? He's better than Zach, but there's other guys out there I would say are better than Davis. Adirondack says, where's Omar? We need to hear from Omar how awesome Zach can be. Yeah, where is our guy Omar? Remember Omar would call in and scream and yell that it was everyone's fault but Zach Wilson. It's never Zach's fault. It's LaFleur. It's the O-line. It's Salah. It's the weapons. What's the excuse now? Better weapons. O-line was good today. Aaron Rodgers is putting, pixie dust on Zach and giving him ayahuasca to smoke all offseason, and he still sucks. Joke. I hope you Wilson truthers are happy. You're all a bunch of losers. Every single one of you. It's okay to support him and defend him until there's more evidence to the contrary. There's nothing left to say about Zach Wilson to try and justify him being a great quarterback. We had some moron this week trying to argue that if you watch the film against the Cowboys, Zach actually played like Mahomes when he had time. That's the type of dumbassery that was coming from this fan base this past week. I never want to hear it. Enough. He sucks. I feel bad saying it. It's not personal. I root for him when he plays quarterback for my team, like I did today. But they need to do something else besides Zach Wilson because it is enough. You deserve better. I deserve better. All 1,400 of you watching live right now, 2 hours into this goddamn show, deserve better because I'm not doing it. Arizona Jet, who's worse, LaFleur or Hack? Can this even be fixed? I don't know who's worse. They both have to deal with the same shit. I at least saw LaFleur be able to be competent when Mike White was healthy last year. And Joe Flacco was able to be coordinated to win a game last year. We're going to truly judge Hackett when they get a new quarterback out there because right now, it's not Zach. There's no chance Zach Wilson's playing the remainder of the year. None. I have a better chance of starting games than Zach Wilson does finishing the year as the Jet quarterback. Storyland says, see you next season, Jake. I wanted this win for the whole fan base, especially Zach. Our season died today. So you're just not going to watch anymore? That's it? You're going to be sitting on your ass next Sunday night with a beer in your hand, and you're going to watch every play. I know how you are. That's what's sick about being a Jet fan. We're going to be doing the same shit next week. And you know it. I know it. We all know it. Arizona Jet says, do you think Cobb could have caught that ball? Maybe, but I'm not going to break down a Hail Mary to it's a low percentage play. They never should have been in a spot where they needed that to win the game in the first place. And by the way, even if they won today, I would say the same thing I'm saying now about Zach Wilson. nothing would have changed other than, holy crap, they actually might be 3-3 somehow at the bye. Minimum, they're 2-4 now. But nothing would have changed as far as my evaluation of Zach Wilson and with this team needing to add a quarterback today. They needed to add a quarterback 13 days ago when Aaron Rodgers went down. They needed to add a better backup all offseason. And once again, this is not a second guess because I said it over and over again, and I know this is not a unique take. I don't want a pat on the back for stating the obvious because it is obvious to everyone but Joe Douglas. Jay Blizzy, you're up next on the hotline. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, Jake? First time caller. Listen, man, I can't do this year, Jake.
I get it.
I cannot do this crap this year. But I'm not a Zach truther, but one thing I'll tell you this, Hackett didn't do him any damn favors this game either. You have him dropping back 5 steps and then have the play formulate. Zach is not that type of QB. Get the ball out his damn hands quick, and that's it. But we don't have any competence here, and that's it. You got the defense on the field playing too long. Didn't do them any favors as well. Salah, coaching-wise, I thought he should have went on a 4th and 2 in the first half. The first half was deplorable, embarrassing, and disgusting. And for Zach, he needs to be cut. He needs to be out, and that's it. Later, man.
Good call. Call back anytime. I agree. He should have been benched at halftime. There should have been a quarterback change then. Smart this team. Try something new. I'll get on Salah for that. Hey, look, I don't think Hackett was good today by any means. I'm going to rewatch the game because I'm not a normal human being. Because I'm going to try to be fair in my analysis. But, I mean, there are guys open. He's not throwing to them. There's guys open. And he had time today. The biggest knock last week was the O-line. And I get it. It was a fair knock. The O-line did not give Zach a chance last week. And honestly, if Rodgers was the quarterback, they probably don't win last week. I can't say that today. All right, if Aaron Rodgers quarterbacked the Jets today, they win by 20 points. F you, Belichick. You would have got punked. And it's a joke that we had to sit there and watch Zach Wilson. And I feel terrible for the Jet fans who paid good money to see this team and sat in a monsoon today. Pittsburgh Mike, you're up next on the show. What's up, Mike?
Dude, sad day. I'm so livid right now. The situational awareness and the lack of football IQ from Zach, that's what's killing me. He threw a check down on 4th and 10 when he could have just launched it down the field. Just throw it down the field.
Yeah, maybe you get PI. Maybe something good happens. Who knows?
Dude, it's killing me. I can't even do this. Like all these callers are saying the exact same thing. It's awful. But there is some hope. I feel like the organization, they must have a plan. They have to. There is no way they're gonna roll with Zach the rest of the year. It's no way. And at what point is there a legitimate concern about Rodgers next year? Like, that's what I'm worried about. Like, if this season goes downhill, like it's going downhill right now, I don't know what's going to happen. So,
what do you mean? The concern
with I'm going to stick it out with you.
You when you say that, Mike, you think he'll retire when you say there's concern for Rodgers?
No, it's just I feel like there needs to be some positive momentum from this season moving into next season. It's like if you sneak into the playoffs and you get in as the 7th seed, like we were talking about yesterday, it's like at least you feel good with Rodgers coming back in. I mean, if we win 2 games, I'm not saying that will happen, but if we win 2 games, like Rodgers can be like, oh, great, I'm coming back after a horrible injury, and there's just got to be something to feel good about. I don't know. I think he'll be back for sure, but you wouldn't feel good.
Well, I mean, if they win 2 games, sure, but this team ended last year in a 6-game losing streak, and Rodgers couldn't wait to play here because the team is really good. The same. We watched this game how many times last year? It's the same shit, man. This was the same game. I saw how many games that Zach Wilson played last year. Now, some of those games they were able to win because Breece Hall went off. Unfortunately, New England shut down Breece Hall today, and no one could make an adjustment. You want to put some of that on coaching? Fine, but I would expect a quarterback 3 years in to be able to score more than 10 points in back-to-back games. They got to get a quarterback in here. Have to. If your takeaway, your biggest takeaway from this game is not quarterback, you didn't watch the same game we did. There are other issues. There always is when you lose. But this was lost because of the quarterback. Last week, there were a lot of other issues. We went through them. I think I was very fair in my evaluation of Zach last week. I didn't put it on him. I thought he was okay for 3 quarters. If they got that version of Zach for 3 quarters in this game today, they probably win. But he was that much worse. See, the problem with Zach Wilson is he's and then he's an abomination, and we got abomination Zach today. Like, there's levels to Zach Wilson. None of them are very good, but there's levels to how bad he is, and today was the worst version of that. Rat Diddy says, Jake, you're the best 2 hours after this misery. I'll keep going. I got people on hold. I'll get to if you're on hold right now, your call will be answered. I promise you that. Blue and Yellow says, Pats were playing backups at cornerback. Open screen. Yeah, it just I agree they didn't do enough of that. Arizona Jet says the 4th down, check down, game away. Yeah, it's just brutal, man. How about taking a safety when you know you cannot take a safety there and Breece Hall's there underneath to be your dump-off option? Philip says, Jake, I feel Zach's a decent quarterback in the hurry-up offense, and every time he does good in it, they steer away from it. I blame coaching. Everything Zach does well, they barely do it. I mean, you can't operate an NFL offense only in 2 minutes the entire game. It's not sustainable. I agree. Maybe they could do more up-tempo stuff, Philip. I do. But, I mean, you're talking about a guy who just can't make basic reads. He was gun-shy today. He was afraid to throw the ball. Last week you heard Zach say, I felt like I saw the field really well. Well, he obviously didn't today. I mean, this was his answer on what went wrong today. Here's all you need to know.
How would you assess why things didn't really work in the passing game today, aside from that one drive where you guys went down the field?
Yeah, I don't know.
Rest of the answer. I don't need to hear it. Eric, you're up next on the show. What's up, Eric? You're on mute, Eric. Can't hear you. No, we cannot hear you. Eric, call back. We'll move you back to the front of the line when you figure it out. Jay, you're up next. What's up, Jay?
Yeah, I'm okay. How you doing? First time caller, Jake, but I've been watching your show for a while and really enjoying it. Been loving the build up to this season. Obviously, we've all had our legs cut out from under us with the Rodgers injury 4 plays in. The thing I just wanted to say, I mean, I haven't got a great deal to add over, individual points of the game, but I thought with dealing with the Wilson situation now, I feel bad for the guy because there comes a point in any walk of life where if somebody can't do the job, then actually what happens is it makes everyone else look bad around them. It drags everyone else down. The whole organization fails. The team fails. The GM, the coach, all the other players look worse because of this one guy, one piece in there that can't do the job. And it's not fair on him, and it's not fair on anyone for this to continue any longer.
Good call, Jay. I agree with you, man. I'm sorry you had to stay up late, I'm guessing, to watch that slop.
Well, yeah, so that's all right. That's what you do, isn't it? That's, even though I'm in the UK, I've been watching the Jets since '86, and,
Wow.
We're used to it.
That's awesome, Jay. Call back anytime, man. Good to hear from you, international there. We had a caller, speaking of Jay, who's in the UK. Craig, who's a great Jet fan. You guys, if you watch the show, he's called in from Australia. He's flying in for 2 home games here. He's staying in New York for the week. He got in this weekend. He's staying in New York. He's a diehard Jet fan. He's here for the Patriot game and the Chief game next week. And he probably paid a fortune to do that. And I just feel so bad for him that he's booking this trip thinking he's going to watch Aaron Rodgers play quarterback for the Jets. And he's got Zach Wilson, who might be the worst quarterback I've ever seen. I honestly, Christian Hackenberg is somehow probably still worse, but I don't know. I never saw Hack play in the NFL. I don't know. Just saying. We'll go to Tristan. He's up next on our show. What's up, Tristan?
Oh man, you described my life just now. Me and my boy Paul literally flew up here for our first time in MetLife Stadium to watch Zach Wilson play quarterback. $300 seats.
Oh my God.
How many? Well, we're row 16. Beautiful seats. $300 seats 13 days ago. They were going for $75 today.
Yeah, it's brutal, man.
It's worse in real life. It's absolutely worse in real life. I know you've seen it in real life a lot, but it's absolutely worse in real life. Offensive line given 5 seconds. And that's really like my high school quarterback that plays running back in the NFL right now. Jared McKinnon could throw the ball better than Zach Wilson. Right?
That's pretty cool that he was your high school quarterback, Tristan.
Trade for him, bring him back, then have him throw the ball. I don't know. There's really nothing There's nothing else that like I can't do it. I'm not done for the season. Like I'll watch your show, watch the highlights, but I'll be on the couch with my beer, and then we'll wait and see what happens next season. But my question to you is, who do you want to start for quarterback next week or in the future of this season? Who do you want to go get? Who's the
Tristan,
best pick?
I appreciate it, man. Sorry you got hosed. By the way, also, monsoon today for anyone who went out there. Just brutal. Honestly, what should give everyone their money back for this game today? Seriously, that's what I would do if I was an owner. Who do I want? I would sign Carson Wentz right now. He's more mobile than Matt Ryan. He's younger. He's got a chip on his shoulder, maybe like Baker Mayfield. Everyone was shitting all over Baker. Look at what he's done so far. He's been efficient. He's been solid. Like, I would sign Wentz and hope that he could give you something. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the savior, but he's better than any of the options I think that are available. Matt Ryan can't move behind this O-line, which I didn't think was abysmal today. That concerns me. I'd sign Wentz. All right? I don't buy he'd be bad in the locker room. They said that about Baker, too. Guys love Baker. All right? And look, I'm not going to try and sit here. Carson Wentz solves all issues. I don't know if he does. But he can at least get the ball to Garrett Wilson. Seriously, I'm not going to MetLife for another game this year until I see a different quarterback playing. I'm not. I honestly, as crazy as this sounds, I looked into going next week for the Chiefs game. I'm not going. No chance. Here's a first-time caller I'm thrilled to hear from, Leanie in North Carolina. Leanie.
Hi, can you hear me?
We hear you, Leanie.
Okay, this is my first time. I'm a little nervous. I'm sorry.
Don't be, Leanie. You're doing great.
I just had to call in. You know I love you, Jake, and I appreciate that you're on because I kept thinking about you the whole game, saying, oh, dear Lord, how is he going to do this show? But, I feel the same way as everybody else. I'm frustrated. I'm pissed off, and I just feel like crying. And I watch the game. I always will. I will be sitting, cheering them on. And with that other guy, which I had to just say this, where he was talking about, oh, you all great. You all thought Zach Wilson was this, that, that. No. Okay, he's a Jet. He's playing. We're going to cheer for him and we're going to support him. But that doesn't mean we think he's the best quarterback for our team. Fuck that shit. I'm sorry, but I'm so pissed off. But fuck that shit. That's not what we meant, and he's an idiot.
Lady.
Sorry.
Great call, Lady. Call back
I
anytime.
love you, Jake. Mwah.
We love
you.
Lady. Lady's one of the 3% of the audience that watches from the female demographic. I swear to God, YouTube gives me demographics on the audience, and it's 97% male. We have just found one of the 3%. Lady's the best. She's part of our Patreon crew, which, by the way, if the Jets stink, it's going to be tough to do this full time, folks. I need you guys to help me out here. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Thank God I'm on 98.7 ESPN New York next Sunday. I'll be torching the Jets on that show if they don't have a quarterback in place for this Chiefs game next week. I'm on 2 to 6 next week, Jet fans. Right into the pregame with Dan Grassa and Greg Buttle for Bob and Marty call the game. But my God. And by the way, Leanie's right. Our first caller today tried to attack Jet fans, being like, you support Zach? Look what happened. We all want to be wrong. But if he's going to play quarterback, I'm rooting for him. I was rooting for him to the last drive. I was hoping like hell somehow they could have some magic on the Hail Mary and they could steal a win. But being a fan does not mean you blindly support someone no matter what. You could be critical. The whole point of the back Zach movement this week was before the game starts and he comes out of the tunnel, don't boo the guy. Now, when he plays like crap, yeah, boo him. He stunk. The whole point is to support him until you can't. That's the whole point. But it's never going to work if Zach didn't play well, and I said that over and over again. Like, this fan base was going to be livid, and rightfully so, the first couple 3-and-outs. And what? The Jets had 6 yards of offense in the first half until the last drive where they had some power runs and got in the field goal range for Greg the Leg to hit from 52 yards? Crazy. Alan, up next on our show. What's up, Alan?
Evening, Jake. Loved your rant. You know my dislike on the coach, but
You thought in the last 10 months he would have learned from that mistake in New England, not taking Zach out at halftime, because what I watched today was the same exact game, and he stood there on the sideline. I'm telling you, there wouldn't have been one other coach in the league that would have kept him out there. And that's where I take umbrage for people who try to defend this coach. This is on the coach, because there is no way in my mind that he should have been out there in the second half.
I agree with you. They should have benched him.
My second question is on the media. Okay, a week ago when Brian Costello asked the coach, why isn't there a backup quarterback, and they said, ask Joe Douglas. My follow-up is, when is Joe Douglas going to speak? I am not going to wait till week 8 for him to speak, because I think this, as the word that you used perfectly, was organizational stubbornness, because this is on the GM. Okay, there is no reason in the world that there is not a quarterback here 2 weeks after the injury of Aaron Rodgers. Okay, so again, as I said this earlier, if this team goes 5-12 with this roster, I know they don't have a great quarterback. I don't want to hear the excuse, oh, we did not have Aaron Rodgers. Let's go back with the same coach and the same GM. It is irresponsible management, and it's stubbornness from the top to bottom. And that's where I'm frustrated. And that's why Jet fans are frustrated, because again, you watch that quarterback out there. There is no other team in the league that would have started him in the second half. It's embarrassing, and it's a joke to watch him.
Yeah, I agree with you. They need to add a quarterback, Alan. I think they're both coming back, though. I do. I don't think this team is going to bottom out where they're going to be a 2 or 3 win team, and that's it. Mo's now a channel member. Appreciate you, Mo. Sign up. You get a badge next to your name. Your comments are more likely to be read. Post-game show, we basically only do Super Chats, though, because there's too many people in here. But you also gain access to a bunch of other perks as well. The custom emojis, all that. So appreciate you, Mo. Gator needs his GAT says JD/Salah arrogance that our defense could be good enough to carry. Utter dysfunction at quarterback is fireable. League average quarterback with this team walk into the playoffs sad. I agree. Maybe that changes now. Maybe this was the ultimate gut punch and wake-up call. Like I think it will be. They're going to add a quarterback because I think they do. Blue and Yellow says Zach has no moxie. Doesn't look like he wants it. He's not very good. What else could be said? James, you're up next on the hotline. We'll keep rolling here. What's up, James?
Jake, what's going on, buddy? So I'm gonna make the disclaimer. I did not get a chance to watch the game today because I was visiting family up in Pennsylvania. We were at a local bar, and of all the freaking games, they didn't even have the Jets game on. I was watching Denver and Miami and Chargers and Vikings. So it was
they didn't have Sunday ticket at the bar.
No, unfortunately, they did not. It was a PA bar. I was visiting my brother and my niece and nephew. So, but anyway, but they showed the highlights when the New England scored, and I was looking at the Google scoreboard the whole damn time. And even though I didn't watch the game, and I don't have much to comment, but it just felt it. It's like, are you serious? Like, New England's not the team of old, and we still can't find a way to win this 15-game losing streak. And I heard people from the Jets saying, like, this is not those teams from before, but you're on that team from before. We haven't broke this streak. Like, what the hell? And again, I didn't watch how Zach Wilson play, but I think I heard you say earlier that the fans apparently booed him when he was coming out the locker room. Is that true, or if I heard that correctly?
Maybe in the second half they did, not before the game. I mean, James, you didn't see the game? Watch it. He sucked. He should have been booed. The whole point was not booing him when he comes out for the first half, which they didn't. Even at the very end, once they scored the touchdown, the fan base was into it, man. We'll go to someone who was at the game today. You can give us the breakdown of the fan support. Neil, break it down for us. What happened today?
Here's the plane. Here it comes. Ready? It crashes down.
Oh.
I just got out of the Sprinter.
How was it?
I took my son-in-law to his first football game ever. He never has been to a football game, so I took him today.
I never want to go back.
No, he enjoyed it, really. He was like, he couldn't believe what it was like in person. When you go to the game and you're with this crazy man here and several of his crazy boys, it's really a treat. I felt like, it feels like, I feel like Puxatony Phil, and it's like the same thing over and over and over and over. I mean, Why do I have to look at Zach Wilson standing for a shotgun and handing it to a running back? Where is the creativity when you do this? And Belichick knows when you hand the ball here, the whole defense shifts there. It's not like he's handing the ball here and the guy pitches it to the guy running around the end, and there's some creativity, and there's Hartman doing a jet sweep. I had visions of a carnival show, and what I ended up with is Bearded Lady again. It's like it really, I've been doing this for 55 goddamn years. I got $1 million invested into this team. Forget about it. I spent $15,000 this year. Okay. This is getting on my nerves to the point where I don't know what to do anymore. I mean, I feel horrible. My family's downstairs. I just walked in the door. I ran up here. They I feel like they feel like I lost somebody when I walk in the door. You okay, Dad? You okay, Grandpa? All my grandkids are gathered around. Are you okay? My wife makes a great dinner to try to make me forget about. I can't even eat. Okay. But what I will say is this, and I said this earlier, the big regret here is going to be not getting a backup quarterback competent during training camp. It was an obvious thing to do because whether Zach gets hurt, which we know he's injury prone, or any other thing, we're going to be looking at a backup here that really isn't going to make a big difference one way or the other. Okay, the offensive line, when I saw the line lined up the way it was, I was very happy. And frankly, they were a little offbeat in the first half. They came out strong in the second half. They gave Zach plenty of time to throw the ball.
Yes,
like
they
you
did.
said earlier, C.J. Stroud's playing with 4. The Texans had what, like 8 guys injured today? Tunsil was out. The whole offensive line was out.
And look at their receivers. They don't have a Garrett Wilson. Believe me, the Texans are not
nobody.
good. I know. That's why.
What did he throw for today? What did he throw for? He threw for like 250 and a couple touchdowns, right?
He played great. They beat the Jaguars. I think he threw even more than that. He looked really good. He's played 3 games. 2 of his games are better than Zach Wilson has ever had in his life.
So my point being is this: look, Zach Wilson is scared out there. When you have a quarterback that's trying not to lose rather than win. You look at Mac Jones. He's trying to win the game. He's trying to put his team in a position. When he sees something not open, he does the logical thing. He runs when he's supposed to run. Zach had a 3rd and 3 with an open hole. And I go, please, just run for that 3 yards and make the first down. He stopped, went around the other guy to try to make something happen, I don't know, downfield. I don't know what he's trying to do, but he's trying to extend the play. That was a simple 3rd down and 3. He had an open hole. He could have jumped. He could have hop, skipped, and jumped for 3 yards and fell down.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing when you have a quarterback that is trying not to lose and not make mistakes. Now, I don't know how much of it is on coaching. I know what they're saying to him on the sidelines. Okay, when you got to walk a guy through and say, "Well, count to 3. If your second option's not open, just throw it away." He's thinking. Now he's thinking about what is going to happen when he gets back to the sideline. He has no shot at redemption here because he doesn't want it. He just wants to get through it. The post-game conversation's the same shit. I'm going to look at the film. Oh, we're going to get better.
He's just not good. And Neil, here's the thing. He's just not good. That's the problem, man. We could try and dissect why. Aaron Rodgers could work with me. I'm never going to be a good NFL quarterback. Zach just might not be good. All right? The Jets had to admit they got it wrong. All right? And they did when they brought in Rodgers, but they were half pregnant with it. They needed to have a better backup on this team. And they were stubborn enough to now allow 3 total games to go by since Rodgers got hurt, because he got hurt 4 plays into the first one, so we're counting that as a Zach Wilson game, to not do anything. And it cost them a game today. If they had signed someone after Monday night, they could have made a change at halftime today, put that guy in, and they could have won that game today. Carson Wentz could have won you this game today. You didn't need much. The defense gave up only 13 total points. And I noticed what Neil was talking about. Zach was afraid to throw on Belichick. He didn't want a repeat of last year where he would turn it over. So he was just holding on to the ball. He was probably shocked how much time he had. He was looking just to get hit and blame the offensive line. Oh, well, I had no time, coach. They gave him time, man. Saleh did the right thing with the O-line today. The 5 guys that needed to be out there that started were the 5 guys that need to be out there going forward. Good to see Tippmann play, finally. Becton's the left tackle, period. Dwayne Brown might be shot, but either way, he's out for the next 4 games. Minimum. Who knows? He's 38 now, dealing with a hip and a shoulder problem. Who knows if he plays again? AVT can be the right tackle. And he should be. They have the right guys out there today. The line was not the problem. Are they perfect? No. Can they maybe run block a little better? I'm sure. But I bet when we watch the film, it's going to be Belichick having a total lack of respect for Zach Wilson. Why would he respect him? Anytime he's played him, he's owned him. It's a joke, man. He is so bad. All right. If you're on hold right now, we will get to you. No one else call in. We've been live for nearly 2.5 hours, but I promised everyone on hold we'll get their voice heard. So let's go to Eric. He's up next. Let's see if we got the mic working, Eric.
Hey, Jake, can you hear me?
We got you.
Awesome. By the way, this is my first time ever doing this, so this is like pretty crazy. I live overseas in Japan. I was really hoping that this game was going to be good, considering what happened with the Cowboys. I should have just stayed asleep, honestly. I woke up, listened to a podcast, and yeah, I really feel that the offseason, the fans, all of you guys were saying, hey, backup quarterback, offensive line. They pretty much fixed the O-line this game, which was good. It's not perfect, but it was better than like the last game. But I try to give this kid like a second chance. He has no business now to like play for the Jets. I think they should just cut him and just get someone, because at this point, I'm really worried that the players are going to do like an Elijah Moore, and then we're going to just start losing all these good players, and I don't want that, especially if Aaron Rodgers does come back. So I really am disappointed in the GM and the coaches, because they've gotten warnings from everybody, and they chose not to listen. And yep, it's going to be a gut punch, and I hope this is what wakes them up. If they put him out there again and again and again and again, it's just bad, and the season's fucked. That's just my opinion.
What time is it in Japan right now, Eric?
Oh, it's 8. It's 8 in the morning.
Wow. So you stayed up late to watch this game, or you just woke up?
No, I stayed up.
Yeah.
Well, I was cleaning up the house, and then I stayed up the whole night, and
Wow.
I should have just slept. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
It's
Good
okay.
call. Good call. I feel terrible for Eric, man. That's brutal. My dad's actually on a business trip in China right now, so I don't think he saw the game either. I do not feel like breaking it down for him. But I don't think they're allowed YouTube where he's at because communism. I don't know. All right. God. Could you imagine pulling an all-nighter to watch Zach Wilson? Teflon TV says, I'm done with the defensive-minded team builds. I just want an offense that doesn't struggle to make every yard. Miami's dropping 70. I want that. Miami's got a really good quarterback. I promise you the Jets were going to have a good offense this year if Aaron Rodgers didn't get hurt. I promise you that. But it doesn't excuse them for going into this year with just Zach Wilson and then being so stubborn after week 1 to do nothing. Aris says, are we tanking? There's no way JD and Saleh can reasonably play Zach. Are we looking for a top 10 pick to help Rodgers go all in next year? Honestly, if they come out and say, yeah, we're tanking, that would actually be more believable than we believe Zach gives us the best chance to win. Just how bad that's been. Ugh. No, they're not tanking. They have too much invested. You know, the Jets have the highest cash roll payroll in the league this year. Woody wanted to win. So if I'm Woody, I'm banging on Douglas's door saying, get a fucking quarterback, man. Sorry to my language. I can't hold it in anymore. It's enough. I've been doing this crap for 2.5 hours. Storyland, Zach can make some throws. Our receivers suck, can't get open. Brees and Cook did nothing. Defense wasn't amazing. I mean, if that's your assessment of the game today, I don't know what to tell you. The receivers were open. The defense wasn't amazing. They allowed 13 points. Enjoy the goddamn Shadow Realm.
Into the Shadow Realm you go.
Why would you cancel minicamp? That's the most competitive part of the offseason, and now they get an F.
Hennessy says, sign Kaepernick. He can't be the worst. I'll take anyone. Kaepernick. That's where we're at.
Into the shadow.
Hold it, Jake. This is too stupid for the Shadow Realm. Let's send this loser to Stupid Town.
I'm just kidding with you, Hennessy, but that was a pretty stupid comment. So we made the debut of Stupid Town with you for suggesting Colin Kaepernick. God, I will take anyone, though. Honestly, you know what? Send me to Stupid Town. I would have taken Colin Kaepernick, who hasn't played in 7 years or 8 years, whatever it is, 2016, the last time he played an NFL game, over what I saw today from Zach Wilson. God, man, just brutal. My Mendick Monk, can the Jets reach out to Miami for Mike White for a second-round pick? No, Miami's not helping the Jets. No. You want Mike White? They should have done what I wanted them to do, which is pay him, keep him. He would have been perfect as a backup to Aaron Rodgers. Perfect. And they had him, they let him go. Jet Warrior, you're up next.
What's going on, Jake?
What's up, man?
Yeah, man. I just got back from the game, actually, myself, too. Hour and a half drive. Sitting in that rain, man.
I'm sorry, man. You deserve better. You deserve better.
It's we all do, man. And even at the times during the game when they wanted us to get up for the defense, it's like you want to get up for them, but it's like we're not gonna do shit once we get on offense again. So what's the point?
You feel bad, man. Like honestly, I was so irrational watching the defense today. I'm like, if they don't score, we're not like. I was like, they'd get a 3 and out, get off the field. I'm like, man. They needed to pick the ball off. Like the play where Michael Carter almost came up to pick up. I was like upset. I'm like, I can't be upset. They're playing out of their minds. And it's just like it's sad, man. It really is
sad, man. And then I just saw a stat. I don't know if this was for today or the course of these 3 games. Gibson 0 snaps on offense. Hardman 1 snap on offense. CJ Uzomah, 27 snaps on offense, and he does absolutely nothing. He sucks at run blocking. Brees had many attempts to cut outside, and if CJ could make a block, he would have yards. He can't block, and I don't understand for the life of me why this kid, Ruckert, is excellent at blocking, and they refuse to put the kid in. 1 snap for the kid today. Like, it makes no sense, man. And then you got Brees, you got Hardman, you got Cook, you got Gibson. Not 1 jet sweep, not 1 read option, not 1 screen pass today. It makes no sense. And I don't know if it's because Hackett is just end pocket play caller for the quarterback or whatever, but it's like, man, you gotta become creative with this kid, because this kid can't sit back, read a defense, and throw the ball. He can't do it, man. He sucks. He sucks.
Yep.
He sucks, Jake.
I think that's why, though. I think that's why the play call is so crappy, right? Because like they can never have sustainable drives, because if the play call is not perfect, Zach can't execute. Like if someone's not wide open, he can't find them. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, man, and it's sad, man. It is really sad. It's sad, and he's like Neil said, he was scared to make a mistake, and you cannot play football scared to make mistakes, man. You can't do it, and that's exactly where Zach is at. He's fully embraced in his trauma, and there's no bringing him out of it. It's over for him, and the Jets have to accept it. Move on. The fans won't be mad if they move on, and it's like, they don't understand that. We'll be the most exuberant people in the world if they just move on, man. But Jake, bless you, man. Hopefully next week we're not that bad and they make a change somewhere, man.
I appreciate it, Jet Warrior. If everyone could do me a favor, as Rich says, and hit the like button for a 2.5-hour postgame show, I'd appreciate that. Thank you all for your support. I feel bad for our last caller who made the trip, sat in traffic, watched Zach Wilson. As I watch the Cardinals, by the way, about to put the finishing touches on a win over the Cowboys. The Cardinals and Josh Dobbs. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys are not the greatest things in sliced bread. Just a thought. There goes my survivor pick, by the way. There goes that one. Oof. Whatever. Chiefs putting it on the Bears. Honestly, other than the Jets and their quarterback situation, the Bears' quarterback situation is like the only thing that's close. I mean, what a mess that situation is. Brutal. Looking at some of these scores here, Seattle's going to be Carolina, it looks like. Ugh, just terrible. Just terrible. I got a text from my friend Nick. He goes, I can't believe it's week 3, and I'm hoping the Cardinals win with an eye towards the draft. I'll say this. I don't think the Jets are going to be picking in the top 5. I don't. This team's too talented. We saw it again today. They need to fix the quarterback spot. If they do nothing, then yeah, they'll be picking in the top 5 if Zach continues to start. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Joe Douglas wakes up and they had a quarterback this week. If they don't, I will lose all faith in this GM. He needs to wake up. Wake the bleep up. JJ says, Jake live 3 hours. LOL. Go to sleep. Save your energy. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with Will Parkinson. We don't stop on this channel. I'm addicted to bad football. Hi, my name is Jake Asman. Nice to meet you. Vladdy writes in, thoughts on Taylor Heineke? He flashed at points last year with the Commanders. I would take him, but why would Atlanta trade you him? We have to be realistic, folks. It's got to be someone closer to the deadline that becomes available for those type of names. The guy I want is Cousins. I don't know. Minnesota's 0-3. I don't know if they're trading him yet. Honestly, you know what would be great? Zach Wilson for Kirk Cousins. Minnesota could be like, well, we want to give Kirk a chance to win, and we want to see what we have in Zach, a.k.a. we're tanking. This is the best way to do it. The NFL can't fine us for tanking if we trade for Zach Wilson and he plays. Then they decline his 5th-year option. They cut him in the offseason. Zach helps him get the number 1 pick. The Jets have a quarterback who's good enough to get him to the playoffs, and we all win. That's what I would do. We'll get Zach Wilson and a draft pick, so they get a pick and they get the guaranteed number 1 pick in the draft. I mean, what's better than that? Minnesota now could lose out. They could go 0-17 because Arizona's got to win. And there we go. First pick is theirs. Who says no? Caleb Williams, you are a Viking. Done. I just solved every team's problems there. Josh says, Jets back to being a poverty franchise. If they stick with Zach Wilson, yeah. Hennessy says, drinking myself to sleep tonight. Good night. I feel that. Sneakers to Boots, you're our second to last caller on the show, and then we wrap up with Marcus. Sneakers to Boots, what do you got?
What's going on, Jake? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Thank you for giving us another evening of Jets therapy. Watching this,
my favorite.
Yeah, it's like a Sunday special that we just keep on coming back for. But I just want to make a couple points. The incompetence of this coaching staff is beyond belief. Just the willingness to just keep saying that Zach is the guy, not holding any accountability. I'm a JD fan. I love a lot of the moves he made, the picks he took, but there's 2 that he's whiffed on pretty big, and that's going to be the quarterback and left tackle, the offensive line.
The quarterback a way bigger issue though, man. Like you could survive a bad. The Bengals went to a Super Bowl a couple of years ago with a crap O-line. It's not just missing on Zach. It's the insistence that he needs to keep playing for the team is literally one of the worst decisions a Jet GM has made.
Yeah, and then that's going to lose the other 52 men in the locker room because Salah's his message is going to fall on deaf ears. Like no one's going to care. Everything we saw at Hard Knocks is just going to be in one ear, out the other. And just the willingness to just stick with what they have it's not mind numbing. I don't even know what to do at this point. I'm a diehard Jet fan. I got tickets to go to Vegas. I shelled out $900 to sit front row of the end zone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't even want to go. I mean, at this point, I'm wasting more money going or not going than actually going. Because
are you staying at Circa or you're staying at a different hotel?
Right now, I'm staying at a different hotel.
All right, I'm going to make your trip better. I'm going to get you into all the events, all right, because you're a real Jet fan. So come find me in Vegas or message me ahead of time, and I'll take care of you, all right? We'll make the trip a little better.
All right, man. I appreciate it. But otherwise, I don't know what this season's going to bring, but at least we have all you content creators giving us at least some hope. Obviously, the Jet narrative out there is pretty shitty. But thank you for what you do, and have a good rest of the night.
Appreciate you, man. Good call. Look, we just saw the Cardinals beat the Cowboys. All right, make a quarterback change and find a way to compete with the Chiefs next week if you're the Jets. Crazier things have happened. That's all we could do. They cannot. If they go with Zach, they have no chance. But if they could do something else and they're at home, I mean, it's not going to happen. But like, this is why we watch the NFL, man. Like, no one's running away with it in the AFC. The Jets are still very much alive if they make a change now. If they are stubborn and go down with Zach Wilson again for another week, they're not going to have a chance. I mean, to lose to this shitty-ass Patriots team today is an embarrassment. And if I'm Woody Johnson, I am banging on Joe Douglas's door the second this game ended today. Or I'm finding him wherever he is in the media area or the press area where Douglas is, wherever. And I'm getting a quarterback. I mean, the fact that this team had Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan reach out and they said, we're good. We're good. What are we doing here, man? Ryan nails it. The fact that Wentz reached out and we said no. Why? You cannot justify it. Today was the last time Zach Wilson starts with no one that could come in and eventually replace him. If you sign someone and you want to start Zach next week, I would say you're dumb. I don't care. Start Boyle and then whoever. But at least I could be like, all right, their plan is to have that guy ready for the Denver game, which is infinitely winnable. As Sean Payton, the great Sean Payton, highest paid coach in the history of NFL coaching, allowed a 70 spot today. Congrats to him. They're soiling the name of Mike Westhoff on that coaching staff. Mike should retire. He shouldn't want to be around Sean Payton. I mean, man, I thought Nathaniel Hackett had the worst coaching job ever. How about Sean Payton? Bravo. Let's go to Marcus. He's up next on the show. What's up, Marcus?
What's going on, Jake? Appreciate you being on live stream for the past 3 hours. I know it's tough, especially after a brutal loss, but I generally agree with everybody. We got to get a new quarterback in the building, but I just wanted to talk on two moves that I kind of been disappointed with Joe Douglas this offseason. One being the Dalvin Cook move. I don't think Dalvin Cook is what we expected him to be. And looking at like Kareem Hunt getting $6 million, I would have rather went with someone like that who's just a little bit more all-around good back. And then drafting Will McDonald at 15. At that point, we might as well got Jackson Smith and give us our team another weapon instead of getting a guy that's going to sit around the bench behind all these players. We have a deep room in the D-line room. That pick is a question to me now. And then he also didn't bolster up the tackle position. So it's looking like a bad offseason for Joe Douglas, and I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, look, right now it's tough to say anything different as far as the Dalvin Cook signing. He hasn't been good so far. Now, it would have been fascinating, I think, to see what he looks like when this offense could potentially be humming with, Rodgers at quarterback, so you have the threat of a pass game downfield. It's tough, man. I mean, today Dalvin Cook, eight carries, 18 yards. Like, that's 2.3 yards a carry. But Brees was even worse today. They completely shut down the Jets running game today and dared Zach Wilson to beat him. And we know what happens when that happens. As far as, some of the other moves, like Mecole Hardman not doing anything, like, that doesn't make any sense. Is that a coaching thing, or is Mecole Hardman bad all this? I don't know, but that's not a good look for the GM. Or paid him $4 million to do nothing. We'll see where Kareem Hunt is, though. That's the one thing I'll say. But most of these running backs, like, when you get them, they're typically cashed out. But Dalvin Cook was on a one-year deal. So I'm not going to kill Douglas for that because worst-case scenario, it was like, whatever. It's a one-year deal. Like, you were expecting this offense to look different with Rodgers at quarterback. But the tackle criticism is fair, 100%. But the biggest criticism of Joe Douglas is what's going on with Zach Wilson. Period. They got to fix this, man. They're 1-2. It feels like the season's over. I understand that, but I'm looking at the AFC right now, and some of these scores today, no one's running away with it. And this defense will keep them in every game, seemingly. Last week aside. Gang Green says, coaching's the reason why this team has always failed. Not true. Quarterback is the reason why this team has failed. You watch this game today, and you think coaching's why they lost. Did we watch the same game? I'm not going to sit here and tell you the coaching is perfect, but when you lose, it makes everyone around you worse. When you have a black hole at the most important position, it is tough to win. We'll go to Luppy. He's up next. He was on hold after I said no more calls, but we love Luppy, so we'll get him in here. So
I appreciate that, Jake. I had to call. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm living two movies here.
It's the same movie I watched last year.
Groundhog's Day, right? And The Princess Bride, where they got me tortured up and sucking a piece of my life out. How do you feel now? Sucking it out. How do you feel? Something has to change, Jake. Something has to change, and has to change now. I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know why I know that they're trying to believe in this kid. But, Jake, at this point, what are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know.
It makes it extremely hard. Listen, I only got a little bit left of life in that little meter right now from Jets being sucking it out of me. You know what I mean? So it's always good to talk to you and see you because you bring me a little bit better. It's like therapy here. So which is something I need. That's why I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Luppy. I think we've experienced so many emotions with this team, man, the last couple of months. And just today, the only emotion I have is just anger. It's brutal. Ben says Robert Saleh is an incompetent pawn. I would not say that at all. I think you're just very upset. Gangrene says coaching is definitely why they lost. That's not why they lost today. Are we watching the same game? What's Bill Belichick's record without Tom Brady? How many times has he been to the playoffs in his 10 seasons without Brady as his coach? Answer's only 2. You think the Patriots are going anywhere this year with Mac Jones and that roster? No shot. No shot. Brian's up next. What's up, Brian?
Jake, what's up, man? Thanks for taking my call. I was waiting for the stream to start around 4:45, and I fell asleep because I was so upset. Woke up and you're still on, man. Thanks for everything, man.
Well, thanks for watching.
So back to my point. Why doesn't Salah do anything, man? Like about what's going on, the situation. Like I just think he can't control the team right now. He's not. I know the players play, but when shit's going wrong with the offense or the defense or even the defense was surprising today. They didn't play a great game. Look, they held them as long as they could. They did great on that.
I mean, they gave the offense twice 2 opportunities to go win the game. The offense did nothing. They gave up 13 total points.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to blame them all fully, but still, like some plays they gave up. Third down is really killing us right now. That's definitely killing us. But at the end of the day, Salah, he's killing me, man. I got to see him go to the coaches, go to the players, the sideline, talk to. He just stays there, bending down on his knees, and just watching the field. Like, come on, man, go talk to the players, go talk to Zach yourself. He's got to hear from his own coach. I mean, I know Zach's not the solution, but yeah, man. Hopefully we get somebody in the building this week, and hopefully have a better week next week.
Yeah, look, I don't think that's the criticism Salah would have. It'd be, how do you not go to Tim Boyle for a spark at some point in this game? That'd be my big thing. I think Salah does coach guys up and shows a ton of emotion. Go back to the Bills game. Down 10 at the halftime. They made adjustments in the second half. They came back and won, which is amazing in hindsight. The Jets won that game. I mean, like, we're talking about a quarterback who checked the ball down on a 4th and 10 with the game on the line. What are we doing? He took a safety when that's the one thing you couldn't do in that spot. Make a field goal game now a game where you needed a touchdown to win. The problem with the Salah hate for me is it's like I don't know if he's a good coach or not. I don't think he's a bad coach. He's better than Gase. He's better than Bowles. I don't know if he's a great coach. It's impossible to truly know until he has a quarterback that's not Zach Wilson. It's impossible. I mean, Zach Wilson is one of the worst quarterbacks we have seen in the history of football. Seriously. The numbers back that up. He has worse numbers than Jamarcus Russell, who's considered the biggest bust in NFL history. I mean, once again, I'll repeat what I said earlier. If Zach was not the former 2nd pick in the draft, he'd be out of the league right now. No one would give this guy this many opportunities. And good for him. He's got $35 million in the bank. We'll never be able to take away from him. But he's not an NFL quarterback, at least right now. Jay Stewie says, do you think we realistically trade for a QB? They better. Or sign someone. I think that's more likely. The trade would happen closer to the deadline. Vinny's up next. What's up, Vinny?
Hey, Jake. What's going on, brother? Shell-shocked, right?
No, just angry. I mean, I kind of saw if the Jets were going to lose, this was kind of how I envisioned it, you know?
No, honestly, I'm at the point with this coach, he doesn't take any accountability for his players. He's way too loyal to them. Every time they panned over to this guy on the sideline, his arms were folded and he looked stone cold. Dude, unfold your arms and grab your quarterback by the face mask and tell him you can't take a sack in the end zone. You can't throw to the sticks on 4th and short. I mean, this guy's way too... And in the presser, he wasted no time in naming the starter next week. You want to send a message to this guy, I would cut him today. He's that bad. He doesn't make any NFL roster outside of this one. If they wanted to address the backup quarterback situation, it should have been done on September 12th. And the reason they're not doing it, I'm telling you this, they've already been informed they're going to bring everybody back next year. He doesn't think he's on the hot seat. That's what I truly believe.
I mean, look, when you lose, It's fair for these type of criticisms. He's loyal to his players. It was working when they were winning games last year. Like, he's always kind of been the same guy. But the quarterback plays just put them in a spot where everything comes into the microscope and they don't have a chance.
But
I mean,
Jake,
he's the head coach of the
halftime.
I mean, he runs the defense and they allowed 13 points. Like, they clearly have that side of the ball figured out. They have weapons galore. The O-line was fine today. I would get on Salah for not making a change at quarterback at halftime. That'd be my biggest criticism today. I think that's fair. But let's be real. Tim Boyle's not the answer either. The problem is a Douglas issue for not having someone better than Zach right now on this team.
You know, I'll go out on a limb and say this because I want you to get to all the other callers. At this point in time, I think everybody in the league has a hell of a lot more respect for the San Francisco 49ers in cutting their losses for Trey Lance and manning up to it and say, listen, this is on us. This was a mistake of a draft pick. We are moving on. Instead, what our front office is doing, they're double downing on the second overall pick because they got to justify his draft pedigree.
Yeah, look, I mean, it also helps that the Niners have Brock Purdy, who's good, right? So they can move off of Lance because, like, well, we have a quarterback. I mean, that team is just loaded with talent. And they have a great coach and everything. Like, that's what the Jets were trying to build towards, but they don't have a Brock Purdy. The Jets had Brock Purdy, they'd be an 11-win team. At least. But, I mean, Salah's got to get this fixed because I do worry about losing the locker room if he sticks with Zach. That's why I think they got to get a quarterback in here. You can't. You got to show the team that it's unacceptable what happened, and we need to be better. Period. We'll end it right there. We've gone for almost 3 hours. I appreciate everyone who tuned in today. Do me a favor. Even if you thought today's performance was one of the most disgusting performances you have ever seen, that should not stop you from hitting the like button to support this channel and hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you want to sign up for my Patreon to continue the Jets conversation away from YouTube, you can join the Discord by going to patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. It's just $5 a month. I want to give a shout out to Sneakers to Boots, who just signed up a little while ago during today's postgame show. Thank you all for watching, Jet fans. We're in this together. Will Parkinson will be coming on tomorrow on his weekly segment at 10 a.m. Eastern. Talk more about this game and what the Jets do. But the fact that I've been live for nearly 3 hours and there's still 1,200 of you watching is incredible. I always say it. I'll say it again. This fan base is the absolute greatest in the NFL, maybe in sports when you think about the pain and misery we put up with and still support this team. So thank you guys for watching. If you want more Jets content away from YouTube, Patreon, and then follow me on Twitter. Been tweeting a ton about the Jets at Jake Asman. Thanks again for watching. And look, it's going to be a brutal week. No other way to put it, but we'll be here for you every step of the way. Talk to you guys soon. Let's go Jets.